Hello. Welcome to Humpday Q&A. How you doing, Scott?
We are hanging in there. How about you, Simon?
Good. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you. I RMA'd my Intel processor. So.
Oh no. Yeah. What happened this time?
Oh no, it's just that whole saga they had with 40 chips. Anyway. I got replacement. It's all smooth sailing, so can't complain.
Good deal. Good deal.
So
we are on here
on our way for another live stream. Welcome everyone. Get your questions in. We'll go for the do's and don'ts. We're going to some live coding. We've got some guests coming on board. Let's smash on with it.
Hopefully, I'll be able to be around all day today. For once.
After you.
Uh-oh. My UPS just clicked. Be nice, be respectful, don't be stupid. Again, don't be rude, don't be stupid. Don't advertise or promote anything. We know you need a job. If you ask us your question, we're going to put you at the bottom of the list. Even if you were already in the list, you get moved to the bottom of the list. We get this one every week. We're just not going to tell you anymore. We're just going to keep bumping you to the bottom of the list.
And don't post messages with links. We won't see them. The whole message.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Go on.
We usually do that after good time.
Go on.
Harassment, misogyny, bigotry, all this other nonsense, incels, go away. We will share your name with everybody and you'll be blocked everywhere. And let's have some fun. You know what? Let's play Let's Stump Simon today.
Oh yeah. Let's play that. Definitely have some fun.
Now, the whole part about links. YouTube, what it will do if you put a link in your message, you will see your message. We will not. We don't even know you sent the message. So you're sitting here saying, why haven't you answered my question? And we don't know what question you're talking about because we never got it. So if you have code you need to show us, you go to that link that Simon just posted right there, and you put your code in the gist. And then when you save it, you're going to get a big old number at the top. Don't post the whole link. Just post the number. We know what to do with it.
Hexadecimal hash. So numbers, it has numbers and letters. For example,
people know what it means. The serial number of the hash, the serial numbers have letters in them. Yep, like that.
Just post the end, right?
Yeah, 6266, blah, blah, blah. We'll know what to do with it. Uh-oh.
All right.
My phone is dying.
We've got a Matthew Jones in the audience. Welcome, Matthew.
Come on the show. Oh, my goodness. Where have you been, Matt? Get on the stream, Matt. So
So?
speaking of where we're going to drag Matt into here, we have a few other people to drag along with him. There's this stranger here that nobody's ever seen named Randall.
Hey, Randall.
Nobody's ever seen named Randall? Is it like nobody's ever seen me with that name? That seems a little strange. That's a great way to misparse that statement. Hi, I'm Randall Schwartz. I am a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert, one of 10 in the U.S. all the way from the beginning of the program 5.5 years ago. And I spent a lot of time answering y'all's questions on places like Stack. Yeah, I always do that. Y'all, what do you mean?
I know
that
not 5.5.
Oh, seven. All right. Well, since the beginning of the GDE program, which started about a year later, so from the release. So yeah, I was the first batch.
I'm counting the time that you were a web GDE. They made Randall a web GDE because they didn't have a Flutter GDE yet.
I was a web GDE for like 6 months. Yeah, you're right. So what I do is I spend a lot of time answering questions on Stack Overflow, Reddit. Used to be Facebook, but that's just become a septic tank, so I stay away from there. And Foursquare. Where else am I answering questions? Slack and Discord. There we go. Multiple Discords, actually. I hang out on the Google Developer Community Discord, which is really cool. There's a lot of cross technologies there, and it's really well run. Google actually runs that server, so it has strong moderation and hosts live events all the time. If you don't know about the Google Developer Community Discord, please check it out. I can go find a link for it if there's enough information for it. But for this show, I have a very specific role, which is that I am watching the chat that's going by on YouTube, and I'm looking for sentences that start with Q colon. That's a question for us. If you put Q colon in front of it, it goes in our queue. Oh, there's a bad pun every week. I get to do that one. And if you don't put Q in front of it, I consider it a question amongst yourselves. Because sometimes people ask each other questions and answer each other's questions, and that's fine. I will occasionally interrupt and go, "Was that for us?" If you so, then repost it with Q in front of it. Don't feel offended if you see that. That's just me trying to help out. So that's kind of the way it is. I'll also be helping to answer some of the questions. We only have 4 people today, so I'll probably be on camera for the rest of the show.
Sounds good. And we got a couple more. Let's say hi to Juan.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. How y'all doing, John?
Y'all. I didn't know Randall was from the South. I thought he was from the
spent
Northwest.
14 years in the South.
It's a much more accurate word to mean y'all. You know, I think it's a nice word. It really does belong in the English language. So I use it when I can.
Yeah.
Y'all about nuts.
Y'all.
Yeah. And then there's all y'all, which means everybody in the world, pretty much. Todo el mundo.
Everybody in the room.
Yeah. At least.
Yeah.
At least. All y'all.
All right.
All y'all nuts.
So when I grow up, I want to be like Randall. That's what I want.
I want to be like y'all.
I want to be like y'all.
When
I grow up, I want to be just like Randall. So what do I do? So I spend time hanging out in some of the same places as Randall, mainly in the Discord for Flutter, answering questions there. I manage the Flutter community Medium and have a few apps that I published, and then do that all on the side when I find time outside of my day job.
Nice.
Cool.
Should we bring out other guests?
Yeah.
Oh, then I might not have to be on screen.
Somebody else who's
I didn't know
awake
if they
in the
made
middle
it.
of the night.
Yeah.
I thought he said he couldn't make it.
Hello, guys.
Anyway.
So,
It's got a haircut. It's got a haircut as well.
oh, I did, yeah. Nice to see you all. So Randall talked a lot, so I will keep it short. So I'm Raf. I'm Flutter community and Flutter enjoyer, and I'm sometimes fix some plugins and random open source projects.
Cool.
Let's see. Raf is a Polish guy who used to live in London and is now coming to us by way of Fukushima.
That's true.
You
You know too much about me. I should be worried.
Hey, you know what, though?
Where
now
are you?
you need to go below the equator. You need to go like South America or Australia, New Zealand, South Africa.
When you see
I
the
will,
Southern
maybe one
Cross
day.
for the first time. Yes. The song with
Now
that.
you're really dating yourself.
I'm carbon dating myself.
I
with that
got it.
old-
I got it. I got the reference. Yeah.
I'm going to pretend I didn't.
All right. I'm going to bounce out.
Little
Keep
quick
it down to 4.
things. Sorry. You're welcome to stay, Randall. 5 is not
No,
too many.
no, because it doesn't work well when you go to the 4 up on the left side. So
I think this is really good, to be honest.
Yeah, I like it.
okay, I'll be here then.
There you go.
So a couple of quick things I just want to pop in here real quick. What I want to know is, how do you pronounce use in Glasgow? Because I don't know. I have a friend of mine, his grandmother just passed away, and she had the most guttural Scottish accent. I can't even do it. So how do you pronounce that? And the other thing is, congrats, Matt. Now get your butt on the stream, Matt.
Nice.
Anyway, we should move forward.
Where are
whatever
we
forward is. What's next?
Oh, there you're okay. So you're down there. Oh, I wish I could, man. I wish I could. I was invited to speak in Medellin, but people don't realize that the speakers don't get everything paid for. A lot of times, the events just cannot afford to drop 2,000, 3,000 US to have someone step on the stage for 40 minutes. It's ridiculous. It's tough enough when I'm brought into Europe, they're paying about 2,000 US, and then I'm covering the rest, which is about another 2,500. So
We'll send you by boat.
They're paying for the privilege. What Raf?
He's going to give you a boat so you can get there by boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the cruise, boat.
Yeah. No, he'll put a motor on the back. He's not
Pedals?
that bad. Yeah.
Is it a pedal?
a pedal boat. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was Randall's memory lapse there.
Sorry, the caffeine hasn't fully kicked in yet, so I'm not going to be coherent for probably another 30 minutes.
I just can't.
I have my big mug. I'm drinking. It's not.
I can't wait to get to the part that has the real juice in it.
This is a Stanley Cup, but it's only for cold stuff, so I can only put cold stuff.
Oh, it's not the hockey Stanley Cup.
All right.
No, I didn't win this.
I'm making a management decision here. We're going to cut questions at about 35 after the hour, because we want to try to be done
You mean
on
in
the
18
hour
minutes?
so that we can get to some code.
In 18 minutes, you want us to stop questions? Really?
Because he wants to stop answering questions.
We've already got 7
within the hour.
We can answer questions whilst doing some coding. I mean,
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. We'll continue to take general questions.
Simon's coding can be just like background music.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. We will take questions about the coding. Any relative questions about the technique Simon is using in the coding, or why didn't you use this other technique?
Or how it compares to something, or how it compares to something you had trouble with in your code.
There you go. Perfect.
Maybe we should switch.
All right.
So
Yeah, we already have 7.
And Simon can judge you.
What we could do, Randall, is we could just limit it to 15. So we'll take 8 more.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So we have 7 right now, and let's make it 6. How can we preserve widget states in Flutter when navigating using the bottom navigation bar using GoRouter with shell route? Share the gist. There you go. Let's go take a look at some code.
Yeah.
Grab that. If we do some more questions, and I'll come back.
Manish, are you asking that question of the entire group in chat? Because if the reason we do a queue, folks, while Simon's pulling this code up, the reason that we do a queue is because a lot of times people are asking each other questions and answering each other's questions. So if there's not a queue, we figure it's not for us.
Yep. Simple rule. Really simple rule. So Simon's working on this one?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
need to kill more time. Ah, there we go. I'm going to take this down so we can see the code. And the goal is preserving the widget state when navigating using bottom navigation bar.
Yeah.
With Go router and
You want to
all
put
that
us on
fun
the
stuff.
side, Simon?
I was thinking like you can maybe see the text bigger that way. It's fine.
Let me see. Yes, no?
Eh,
What do you
I like
folks
it.
think? You tell us, side or bottom?
Side
the side
usually
actually
works.
gets us off the code. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
agreed.
just the code above, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's
That
just do
looks
it.
good.
Let's do it. Right. So what do we have here?
This is the most meta show we've had in a long time.
So we've got route shell. Okay, so it's creating a top level widget, contains a router using some global
keys,
singleton keys, initial route A, the shell route, which contains its initial route, contains a details route B that contains the details route C, details route. So it's got like screen ABC details, gotcha, and then the shell route is given a scaffold with a nav bar. So top level router bar, scaffold nav bar, scaffold bottom nav bar, ABC. I think the problem here. So the question was, how do we maintain the state of the what screens?
Yeah, it's almost sounded like of each one, so that when they navigate between them,
So
they
just
are
want to use a stateful shell route.
Preserve widget states in Flutter when navigating using the bottom. Yeah.
Isn't that what a stateful shell route does?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're asking how to use it.
Well,
no,
they've already got.
They do know it's shell route. They're already saying
no, but
that.
not stateful shell route. They're just going with the shell route.
Yeah. Flip this around.
Yeah, he followed it up. The follow-up is that he needs to avoid rebuilding widgets.
You should never be scared of rebuilding. If you're scared of rebuilding, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Unless it's in an animation.
Well, an animation triggers 60 to 120 times of rebuilding every minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be able always to process your build in less than one frame. And and so don't put no IO in a build. That IO should happen long before that, or in some parallel async thread.
Here you go. No. What does that say?
It says stateful shell route. Oh, this is in
there you go.
Bottom right bar with persistent input. Yeah, right. Seems like it should be
perfect.
The solution then.
So it says navigation state for each tab. I'm assuming it means the entire UI state. It could be that when you switch, haven't used one of these for a while, but if you switch, it may lose the state of widgets. I can't see that though. I mean, like this is. I thought this was the difference between stateful shell route and shell route, right? Like two differences between these two classes. We could try and run this a bit later, but yeah. So basically, looks at the current path and to see which one it is. So I need to explain this. So because this bugs me. This really bugs me. You can make custom Go routes, right? Like you can extend the Go route class. You can add more fields to it, right? It doesn't make a difference as long as it has Go route as its base, right? So if you want to like have like this kind of like logic where you go, oh, if it's A, then do 0. You can just put the index of which tab it should be, order of which tabs, like that can all be part of your actual route state. The other side of this is you've got these kind of like paths like in quite a few places. I know this is just a demo piece of code, but put a static const in called route name inside of screen A, and you can have screen A dot route name in all the places where you expect it. So initial route, it will say screen A dot route name here, and you can understand what you're going to, right? It's definitely worth doing things like that.
Let me show something real
Same
quick.
for this. You could then say go to screen A dot route name, right? Let me just scroll through this. No, it's what we expected. So I think, Don, you can take it if you want.
All right. This is going in the chat right now. It is courtesy of Raf. Thank you, Raf. And Flutter bottom navigation bar with stateful nested routes and Go Router.
Of our favorite stuff at once.
Yep. Everything right there.
All it needs
Thank you,
is some
Andrea.
animation. It just needs some animation and some state management.
And you know it's good because it's coming from Andrea.
Yeah.
And it may have
He has been, oh my God, Andrea's been writing these tutorials and everything for how long? 7 years?
A long time. Yeah.
A very long
From
time.
the very beginning. I think he's been around since Alpha, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He's also a fellow GDE, so yay.
Yep. So that's a great place to go. All right. So
in general,
his
Riverpod tutorials are there. They're all tagged.
I do want to do one tiny bit of housekeeping real quick. Let me see here. Corva X 3D mapping and Crovax 124. Nice try. The question got asked twice, once from Twitch and once from YouTube.
Well, it didn't actually get asked though. There was no queue in front of it.
No, I think later on it came up. Or no, I'm sorry, it got put in the queue without a queue. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. Because I responded right away and said you need a queue.
Yeah, you're off the hook. You only put a queue on it in one place.
Come on.
The iron fist of Scott.
I flagged that. Ooh,
let's write an IDE while we're at it. No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
This is a bit involved.
That's like an hour show right there.
An hour?
Yeah.
A month of hour shows.
Depends on how deep you want to go.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
This is just a website. So just like, Jasper, make me a Jasper-based website. There you go, done. Whatever it comes out, run it. Done.
It was to have AI in the website, not use AI to make the website.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not both?
And I am doing Gemini in a Flutter app. To walk someone through how to just set that up would take a little more than an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I could just show you code real quick and say, copy this, but you wouldn't understand what you were doing unless I walk you through it.
Yeah, but look at this. It doesn't matter what API, Gemini, or anything. You just make a RESTful API. You're calling that from your website, and then whenever it wants to go to the back end, it does.
You actually don't even need a RESTful API because there are Dart packages that
you don't.
But my point being is that you don't want to be going direct with your API key in your front end client code on a website to some APIs that charge you, right? You want to put that in the back end. You want to obscure it away. They shouldn't care that you're using Gemini or anything, right? Like you can then switch out what implementation you want on the back end, right?
Right.
I'm getting a couple of pages up here for sharing.
Right. Cool. Whilst you're doing that, what's the next question?
I'm already ready.
Hello.
I may as well just leave this share up, huh? Window. All right. 2 websites you want to look at. The first one on pub.dev is Google Generative AI.
Yep.
This is what will get you to be able to work with Gemini.
And this works for both Dart and Flutter.
Yep.
There are Flutter examples and Dart examples.
And it works on web, Windows, everything.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it's
No, it's not.
it's just
No, Mac OS. Yep.
it's just calling RESTful APIs in the back end, so it's really not a lot of
Yeah.
technology required.
There's a little bit to it to understand how it works, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
The other one is, if you know anything about building LangChain, we do have a LangChain Dart.
Right.
In fact, there are LangChain Dart. You have to be careful. There are quite a number of different packages, and you need to know which ones you're using. OpenAI, LangChain Google, LangChain Community, Chroma if you're going to use a Chroma database, Pinecone database, Olama for a local install of your LLM. LangChain Core, Superbase. So you need to pay attention to what's going on with the individual packages, depending on what you're going to use. And also join their Discord. Please.
Yeah.
Don't ask us questions about it. Join their Discord. So, but yeah, that's about the best we can do with it right now. So that's about the best we can do from a show.
Randall, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am developing a music sharing app and I'm using Riverpod with a generator. Is this state management scalable? Yes.
There you go.
That was fast.
Could you explain a little
it's-
bit about why?
Because it's Riverpod.
Well, if they did it right, it's scalable.
Yeah.
Okay, Randall, how much is Remy paying you?
Not enough. I deserve a bit more tribute. No, we get along well. Remy and I chat a lot. The thing about Riverpod is that you can scope the providers to libraries. And most people don't do that. But once you start doing that, you start getting it out of it just being globals. And so it's a little bit easier to have it scoped to a library. And the generator fully supports that. What the generator doesn't support is scoping it to being inside a class. And I considered that sort of like an inverted, like Java influence confusion. Because it's like we don't need statics inside classes. We have globals that do the same thing. And regionals with library scope stuff. So yeah, no, it scales. It scales fine.
All righty. Good deal. Folks, we still do have some room for, I think, about 7 more questions.
Yeah, people.
I think maybe one question was asked since we said we would do 15.
Yeah,
and we're down to 4, so get us something to answer.
Right. Time to stump Simon. Yep.
Again, wow. Folks, we can't just tell you how to make a whole app.
Yes, you can do it.
So it's Flutter.
One
Flutter
with
WebRTC.
a camera.
No, it's there's
WebRTC.
Flutter WebRTC package.
Also, though, I think Stream would make this a lot easier.
So Stream actually use this. This is sponsored by Stream. So this is the underlying system that Stream uses. So you can use Stream's like pay for service, obviously, or you can run something yourself. But this is the one that's going to give you the most compatibility, right? So you can see here, audio and video support across all platforms, data channel support across all, screen capture support across all, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot of options that you can do. But this is basically a fundamental. Sorry?
I think they mentioned recording in their question. Yeah, with recording. So they may have already looked here.
Yeah, I mean, like, just add. There's the problem. Like, add the features. If it's not there, I mean, honestly, there's no magical package. I mean, if you can't, what's the word?
Fork it.
Yeah. Well, no. It's about saying like just code isn't just given to you on a platter, right? if it doesn't exist, you write it. If that's what you're building, right? If you need to do this thing, you build it. So just because there's not a Flutter package that doesn't support that, add the support for it, right? Go look at doing that, right? Yeah, but no, that's what I'd recommend. So I'd say to do that. What you're asking to do in terms of just making audio video streaming is really difficult. So, and there's lots of packages out there that aren't very good. So yeah, I probably recommend that. The same people, the same authors. Let me write it here. Let's see if I can get it up. There you go. SIP UA, which is also sort of a Dart SIP server, right? So they can, again, this is another form of communication for sending audio video calls, right? So, but they've got a whole sort of set of things. So look, Dart WebRTC as well. So for JS. Anyway, yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Of all the people on the stage right now, please raise your hand if you're beginning to feel like a pub Dart dev librarian. Yes, you can find that book over here.
When have I not been that though?
Yeah, it seems like that's probably maybe every third answered on Discord.
I think it comes with the territory. If you're answering questions for people, you're ultimately referring them to pub entries, and so you should be aware of everything that's in pub. Like I did, I've done screencasts on the Google-based domain names that are published by Google to show that this isn't all third-party stuff in pub. There's a lot of first-party stuff in pub as well, and you just have to recognize the domain names for searching for those. Like google.dev is an example.
But all equally, google.dev just means it was dumped by Googlers, but it's not actually necessarily maintained by Google, right? It's not a first party.
True. But there are some other ones like tools.google.dev or something. I think
Dart.dev, all the Dart.dev and Flutter.dev ones.
Exactly.
Are all definitely
part of the teams. Yeah.
Teams.
Yep. Like Go Route.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Raf, we're glad you're here because there's only one person on this stage right now that is a professional Android developer at this moment. I'm so sorry, Raf.
I would say Simon is equally skilled in this matter.
In Android. Raf, unfortunately, if anybody knows a Flutter job for Raf, he's a fantastic Flutter developer who wants to get back out of Android again. But in the meantime, what are some actual use cases to enable and disable the auto backup for Android?
I
never use it.
How to use it, or why would you want to enable and disable it?
I think they're saying why, because use cases.
I think they need to clarify. They need to clarify their question, because it's like when you. I mean, the answer to that is when you need to disable it. I mean, to be fair, I don't think there's any time when I need to disable it, to be honest. If it's going to auto back up some files, you delete those files and then they're cleared, right? So, yeah, maybe a user doesn't. Maybe a user hasn't signed up for like the privacy statement or something like that, and you want to or some sort of legal thing, so you want to disable it. I think that's kind of covered by the Play Store policies, though. I don't know. I can't think of one particular case. Okay, that's it then.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Salah is asking a question that we would love to answer, but it's we need more context.
Needs more info.
Yeah. We need some more info, but we'll be happy to try to help you. All right. In the meantime, is this a correct approach to transform the URL of a network image into a uint8 list in the model class? How to utilize this code generator?
Is this? I bet they have a URL ahead of that.
Yeah,
and we can't see the URL that's ahead of that.
No, I don't. The whole message would not have been. The whole message would have been.
Well, it could have been.
No. separate post with a URL and then
Oh.
this message following it. This is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, this is
No,
what we're
it's the
talking
same.
about a gist, I think.
Hang
Or
on.
are they just asking in theory?
Hang on. Is the correct approach to transform the URL of a network image,
Oh,
i.e., just a URL string, into a list of bytes in a model class? The answer is why? Keep it a string, right?
yeah, I don't know about the code generator, but yeah, sorry, I think
this
I did
code generator. I'm still thinking there's a URL in a previous message and we just didn't see
Maybe.
it.
Which code generator? Come back to us with some more information. Let's move on.
Yeah. Don't put URLs in your messages.
Give us context on your question as well, so we
Yep.
know which one we'll
Okay.
answer.
And so that works beautifully. Thank you for the reword.
Right.
All righty. Moving on. What is the state of macros? When can we start getting rid of freeze? Oh, Remy's not going to be happy with that.
No, I mean, Remy's been working on it. When Remy finishes writing his code, there you go.
Remy did this in observable Flutter
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. I linked to that already, and the person thanked me for it already. So
when macros is the answer is when macros is released and Remy has released his packages to replace it. There you go. Like,
yep.
It's just a mechanism that we're using to generate, right? So freeze is still going to be a package, right? You're not going to get rid of freeze. Freeze is still going to be there, but it will link up with a macro system to generate those particular things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just going to use the macro system to do the generation, right? And this way, it works a lot more efficient. And it's the same for all the code all the packages that do code generation. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And you're asking when it's going to be released. None of us here work for Google. So
no.
They send us cool shirts, but that's it. They don't. Google.
They send me to conferences. But that's about it.
The only time Google has ever sent me money is when I had to pay for things first and then said, "Hey, reimburse me for this, damn it."
The camera you're seeing me on was paid for by Google, but that's about it as well.
Well, yeah, but that's because that's for your GDE work.
GDE status.
Yeah.
They did it during lockdown. If I remember right, there's quite a few.
Yeah, I ended up getting a Logitech Brio. These things are so great. It's just such a wonderful camera.
Wait, you broke up. It sounded like you said you got a large burrito.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
I was going to say sangria. A large sangria.
Right.
A large tech burrito is what I heard. Yeah.
Logitech Brio.
All right.
Brio.
We're doing great on questions today, folks. We do have room for a couple of more.
What is
with everybody today? Usually we're buried. All right.
Everyone's preparing for Flutter and Friends and FlutterCon this month.
Yeah.
They're saving up their
coming
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to come annihilate me in the in my talk, which is going to be about using Gemini to create Flutter widgets, by the way.
Cool.
Anyway, the release build AAB or APK size automatically increases after using Firebase Auth 5. It requires a min SDK of 23. What's the actual issue? Number one, why do you think it's an issue?
Yeah.
You've added stuff to the package. Why? Yeah, I mean, it's
bigger.
And is it making the package more than 200 megabytes or half a gig?
No, it's not even that. Don't look at the APK or AAP sizes. They're bundles of multiple versions of your app. Put them up on the stores. See what the store says the download size is going to be for the relevant device.
There's if I remember right, can't you do that in Android Studio? Isn't there a?
I think it does give you some estimates.
There's a tool to show you the estimate of the download size.
You got APK.
I believe DevTools also has a drag and drop. You can drop a APK or an APK there, and it'll tell you the relative sizes of everything that's in it. DevTools added that fairly recently.
Folks, I'm wondering if we got a lot of lag. I'm looking at the responses on the questions. Either Metan is really late getting back to us on this, or we got a ton of lag. But I got to follow up on the image question.
All right.
No, they're coming in live.
Firebase Auth. Here you go. Look, change log. What happened in version 5? Let's have a look.
Breaking changes.
Okay, some breaking changes.
Required 23 instead of 21. Yeah.
So this is but ahead of the bill of materials change, the Android bomb change to 33. So this is probably just the actual iOS SDK going up in version, right? The native code. I mean, I'm not saying anything specifically here about that. I mean, it's the same when they bumped it, but what was I actually saying in the PR?
Well, but the question isn't clear if it was a change when they moved from a previous version to version 5 or when they added Firebase Auth into the app. Right?
No,
I mean, it could be that they're now using Firebase Auth 5 and the package is bigger. Right?
I mean, sure. I mean, I think just the native dependencies have gone up. Now that Min SDK version has gone up, the native dependencies in Android or iOS have gone up, and therefore you've got more code going, more native code, which makes the size of things bigger. But equally, like you're talking about this being like what automatic APK size? What has it jumped up by like 200 megabytes? You're like, where is this 200 megabytes coming from? Then maybe we question that. Like, yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
No. Well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm re-saying it. It's restating it. Like,
no, it's what I'm saying.
From here.
And apparently we are lagging. According to Matthew says we are lagging.
Okay. So yeah.
Also remember to enable minification for Android builds.
Yeah.
If you are not.
Yeah. Minify
just
enable.
In case I have 46 after the hour, it just changed to 46 after the hour. So you folks can look at your watches or something and figure out how badly we're lagging. Moving on.
I'm still in 1972.
Let's drop back here.
It's too many hours.
Regarding the memory and UNT8, he wants to use it as a memory image and store it locally.
Oh, you want to download the contents of the URL? Do you want to download the image and store it? Yeah, so do that.
No, cache network image.
Right, but you don't store that in your model. You don't store that in. How many times? Okay, like. Your JSON model, right? The JSON is metadata. That's going to be like maybe a few kilobytes at most, right? Like in the realm of that kind of area. Tens of kilobytes at most, right? Now, your data that you're downloading, your files are going to be in the range of megabytes. Now, if you go chuck megabytes of UNT8 data into your model, and then you go store that model in using some serialization mechanism, it has to serialize that raw data into some other format to store it. When you can just download the file straight to a file on the disk, and you put the file path in your metadata, in your JSON. Now you basically got a pointer, a referrer, something that says when I load that metadata, that JSON object, that class, and it says the string says, oh, it's this place on my local disk, then it'll use that, right? Now this is basically done for you by Cache Network Image, and that's the package I think you should be using because that's what it does.
I wish somebody else would have thought of that.
If you want more control over it, yes, you can do it yourself. Sure, if you want to.
Got lost in the lag.
You know what? I'm concise, and Simon's like a lawyer. He says it with more words. So I don't know. Did you hear me say cache network image right away?
I heard it.
That might be why, Simon. Okay. All righty. Let's see.
That's the next question.
Oh, wait a minute. Raf, you have to tell us when you're using these things, when you're doing them. We have the Flutter downloader in a link here from Raf.
Yeah.
How do I know to post them if you don't tell us they're there?
How is he supposed to tell you except by posting it in the chat? I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do to notify you, Scott.
Raf, is your microphone broken?
No, he doesn't have to say it out loud. You don't say that out loud. That's just chat amongst us.
Hey, we have a link that's available.
Yeah. You could say that.
Simon was waxing poetic, so he didn't want to interrupt him.
Sorry, John.
This is what
I'm sorry.
happens.
So Simon
is
was
what
waxing
happens.
poetic. He didn't want to interrupt.
Right. This is what happens when we don't have off-screen production meetings. We just simply come on the air and do it all as a meta part of the show while we're doing the
it's
show.
That's how it's
Yes.
supposed to be done. It's just kind of like writing your slides
Sure.
for a talk. You do it right
We'll
before
do
you
it
go on stage.
live. We'll do it live.
Oh no, not that guy. Anyway,
Oh.
if you don't know who that's referring to, be happy.
You're a youngin if you don't know who that is. It's fine.
Be happy.
It's
Yeah.
fine to not know that person. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Right. Come on.
Anyway,
Next.
no, we don't do any meetings beforehand except to discuss how if our coffee is warm, because
Yes.
you can't prepare for these questions. You don't know what you're going to get.
Hey, Robert's here.
Hey,
hey,
Robert. Join the channel.
Robert, long time no see, man. You need to get on the stream too.
Yeah, we have ways of bringing you on.
All right, let's get back here to the reworded question, which is much better.
Yep.
I have a problem with the Mapbox package.
No.
The bill-
That's that further down. Further down is it's always repeated later.
No, this is
the
this
reworded
one. Yeah, this is the reworded with the what.
Oh,
what
it
the
is.
problem
You're
was.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
I have a problem with the Mapbox package. The bill is higher compared to the web. Okay, so I'm taking it that the bill is higher on other platforms. Is there a solution to this? Well, my first question is there a difference in the way you're implementing it, or do you have to implement it a different way? Possibly, because there's got to be a difference there somewhere. And my other question too is, the bill for, I don't know what Mapbox is doing or what it's interfacing with, but something there is charging you. How do they know there's a difference? How are you implementing this differently in a way that the people billing you are able to figure out that you're doing it differently?
Well, it could be,
Anybody else?
yeah, I mean, by web, they may not be talking Flutter web. They might be talking just in a straight web page using Mapbox.
I don't even know what Mapbox is, so.
It's a map like Google Maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
You said the bill is higher compared to web. I mean, what's higher about it? Is it more requests? Do they charge you per request? I don't know. I mean, that would tell you that you're doing more requests on one than the other, and then you can look into that. I mean, the other one is it might be doing requests when you build the widget and you're overbuilding the widget. So now you're being charged for more requests, right? I mean,
you have anything in your build method, like Randall was saying?
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's all we can do.
Yeah, sorry, Simon. I didn't mean to jump in on you like that.
No, I'm just saying, I think that's all we can answer with this. I mean, like, it's just.
Yeah, there's something
Well, how long's
different
a piece
about
of string?
the way it's being done.
Use smaller maps on your app.
Here's the answer. If it's 50%
Blow
higher,
everything up.
only show the map. Only show the map 50% of the time on mobile. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Problem solved. Now the builds are equal.
Only show half the map.
Yeah. They charge you per pixel.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, let's drop back
Show
to the
it
image
half
one here
as
for a
tall.
second.
Show it half faded.
This lag is really getting inconvenient.
Opacity 50%. That'll cut back on it.
Yeah. All right, back to the image for a moment. The image has multiple formats, and they need to use Flutter SVG. So
What does that make?
Well,
Literally makes zero difference to what I said.
yeah, does cache network image cache Flutter SVG, or does this need to be done differently?
Right, just remember the point here is download it to a file, put the file path in your model, and then when you load your model, you load the path, and you can either load the bytes and put that into a memory cache, and then use memory image, or you can load it from disk and just put the file local file like asset one, and this is it.
Yeah, one of the different formats right? I mean, you could store the format type in the model or read it from the file name. Either way.
code it in the extension.
Folks, we can take one or two more, but that's going to be it. Right now, we have one question. Yes, Slatty, I know it's a two-parter. We got you.
Yep.
So this is a two-parter. Using cache network image. Hey, with some customization on the service that loads the image from Supabase via a REST endpoint and its headers. The problem is I'm caching different sizes of images and having issues with clearing the cache when re-uploading a new avatar.
One of the main problems of caching, knowing when to blow the cache.
Cache invalidation, one of the biggest problems.
Yep.
I mean, having issues with clearing the cache when re-uploading a new avatar. So you're talking about like the app is uploading the avatar and you want to clear your local cache? Well, just clear the cache. It has evict functions.
Is this
every image provider? Every image provider has an evict method. You run it, it evicts itself from the cache. You've got multiple sizes or multiple versions. Make an instance of each one in a for loop and evict each one.
It's got a follow up there.
Oh, good.
Even if I clear, even if I clear every size manually with evict cache, generating the cache key image path for every size, but for some reason the UI does not update immediately and often requires an app restart.
Missing a dependency.
Okay. You need to.
Okay.
I don't know where you're evicting it from. So there's two types of. You're evicting it from the file cache, and you've got evicting it from the memory cache. If you require a restart, it's because it's still in the memory cache. You need to evict it from both.
And
So
it means it's
check.
also being loaded on App Start, right? And then not checked again, because that way, if the asset changed.
Yeah, it's in the memory cache.
Right. Okay. But what I'm saying is that it's not being checked for an update.
It doesn't. It's in the memory cache. That's the point. That's literally the point. You don't check for updates.
That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you have an image that you see. When was it loaded? Right. And then that image changes in memory when it's evicted and redone, but it's not uploading or it's not changing.
He's not evicting it from memory. He's evicting the file cache and re-downloading the new file, but he's not updating the memory cache. So it's not reloading the file.
Yeah. It's the only reason why you require app restart to do it. So it's the same as having if you had a singleton or a static member variable that contains some data. The only way to actually refresh that, because it's running in memory whilst you're inside your process, is to restart your app.
That's what I said with more words.
Anyway, I just want to say, Zlati, I'm going to assume that your memory cache is not cleared. The widgets as well, like if the widget has this something to also mention here, be careful you're not using the same URL, right?
Yes.
You want to make it, no. What I mean is if you're going to upload some new data, be sure that you're generating a new unique URL for that new image.
But he's not. He says the path does not change.
Yeah. So the way you solve that is
wait. Let's back up here. The first follow-up is using file cache. Then the path does not change.
Right.
But listen. So anyway, you do old man eviction, which is you add a query string that's unique for the file. So you do the path, you add a question mark, and then you can add a query parameter that's unique. So it's called a cache buster normally, and it means that the URL becomes unique for each request that you're making. Then you can actually choose when to change that cache busting value. And you can persist that on your local side. But then at least that means that after you upload the new version, you then query it with a new cache busting value and get a completely different file cached. That's the easiest way to solve your problem. Just request it with I love the query string fix. Yeah. Cache busting.
You need a metadata way of getting the actual current cache bust URL though. So
you have it, right? Because you just change the value when you want to clear the cache.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then you just change the string parameter that you're going to pass whenever you want to clear the cache.
So you're just adding a query string parameter of like a random number
or just throw an integer. Just have an integer and increase it every time, and you're done.
Epoch time, for example.
Yeah, something.
Probably.
Remember,
Yeah, but the
folks,
problem is you don't do it on every request because then you're going to be caching
Right.
multiple versions of the same thing. You only want to do it when you want to bust a cache, right?
Yeah.
remember, test is a 4-letter word.
Dun, 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 dun.
Test.
Bust a
Test.
cache. Bust a cache. No, okay. Right.
Wasn't there a game called Bust a Move on the PlayStation?
Whoa, what happened to Randall?
Oh, somebody got rid of the old guy. I mean, Simon was talking about the old man. Old man thing, and I thought he was going to get rid of a few of us.
Get off my lawn screen. Get off my screen. Where's my YouTube? Okay.
Right, come on. What are we doing?
Is that it?
Next.
We're done.
I still see 2 starred in my list. Oh, nope, we're clear. You cleared them out.
No, that was
Right.
Lottie. I just cleared them.
Yeah, I guess we're done. Time for code. Oh, and right on the hour.
Yeah.
Code.
And that's, you know what?
Right.
Here's the thing. We were asking for more questions and we got fewer. So now we know what the secret is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To be
ask
able
for
to
always
be
asking more
done in
questions.
1 hour. My God, we're actually done with questions in 1 hour. When does that ever happen?
Not
Yeah.
often.
No, this is rare.
Okay.
We're
So
going to
where's
mark
the
this day in
code?
history.
What are we coding?
Yeah, what's the thing you wanted to code here, Simon?
So this came up recently. Let's see if I can get this. So we can all...
I'll still be watching for questions, by the way. So you can
I still
put
like the
questions
other
in.
way better.
Yeah.
Oh, but then he can't see his emulator.
Mm.
You can just get rid of all of us.
There you go. So something came up recently was like, how do you do swipe down to like dismiss in something I was doing recently, and I was like, I just went ahead and did it, but like I realized that there's these things that you do inside Flutter that suddenly become that's a sort of level more difficult than just placing widgets down, right? And I just thought this is one of those times I was like, actually, this would be good to share this, right? So I figured we could just do some coding on this and throw together a quick example, and then people can then run with it if they want to. So this is like swipe to dismiss, right? So like I give a good example of this. You might have a bottom sheet that comes up, and then you scrollable, and then you scroll it to its upper limit, and then you pull down, it will dismiss it off the screen, right? This seems to be like a common thing people want, and there is like various different widgets inside of the framework, but all of them deal with it in a very material kind of way. And if you want to do something custom, you're like stuck, right? And there's limitations and things around those widgets. And it's like, well, how do you do it yourself? You're better off like knowing how to do it yourself, right? Especially when it's not actually that difficult. So I think I wanted to sort of code this out and we'll give it a go, right? So first of all, starting a little example for today. That's the whole thing so far. It's just a blank material app. So what we'll do, we'll have a home screen widget, and then inside home screen, we'll have a widget for what? Item tar, item box, I don't know, something like that. And then item, and then we'll have like another widget for item details, right? This would be like the pop-up or something. Right, so in our main screen, we can have a scaffold with an app bar. Feel free to ask questions around all this, or if you're not understanding the concepts.
Yeah, I'm watching for questions. Haven't seen it yet. Not
right, so I know example. All to dismiss.
Robert's actually answering everything. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, I put it in the chat too. Thank you, folks, for helping each other out at this point so we can get on with code.
Yep.
So
feel free to keep asking each other questions. Just don't put in a queue.
Or put it in a queue and we'll
no, it's fine.
Oh no, that's right. That's right. Just please try to make it related to the code.
It doesn't have to be.
No, I don't mind. It doesn't matter. But we'll answer questions as we go. And right.
It was
Simon doesn't get rid of 90% of his brain when he goes into live coding.
Yeah, it's a shame. It might make my life easier, probably.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. You all haven't been sitting on Zoom with Simon. How many hours have we sat on Zoom together? 10,000?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what we're just doing here is just setting up a brief little framework here just to kind of have a good example, right? So we'll have a list of 200 items. In fact, let's do a grid view. Make it slightly more. I don't know, do something different. What's it? Child builder something. Delegate. Does anyone remember? Sliver child builder delegate, is that the one? It's is it not that? Oh, it's something. It's not the sliver one, is it? I forget. It's no sliver grid delegate. Oh, it's child delegate. You've got child delegate and you've got grid delegate. Yes. No, builder. Item builder. Okay, so
it's sliver grid delegate.
Yeah, but this apparently works. We're going to try this. What does it want now?
That's this big red thing that says it's not going to work. There you go.
So we want fixed count or something. Max cross axis, not extent. Count 3. See how that looks. Right, and then each of our boxes is going to be a aspect ratio 1 with a placeholder inside, just to kind of, give us something to look at. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that's better than nothing, right? We got some boxes. Let's.
So far, we have our typical coding sample. I think you used the same thing last week or the week before with the what were we doing?
Rebuilding.
Yeah, it was like the rebuilding thing. Yeah.
Right. Actually, let's also give this. Let's give this a thing. Something like I was thinking data, but
yeah.
You know what? Just
theme data.light. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just going to see if I can do someone's typing really loud.
Raph, are those Cherry MX blues that have
no, it's not even. It's not even. It's the nice slim.
Oh, yeah. It was you.
It was me, apparently, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So
mine can be pretty loud, and hell, mine are actually silvers.
That too. So this is another interesting thing. So there's a drop shadow on the bar at the top here, and it looks slightly closer to the top. If you do get that kind of thing, you want to put your padding on the actual scroll view itself. Right? So for those people that don't know, it's very important to do that. Engine sense.
Alex, go for it. Oh, I'm going to put it in chat in case we're lagged badly.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like we were too bad there when we were talking before.
Lag check. Somebody say something in chat, please, for lag.
Right. So we've got our boxes now. So what we want to do is have it so when you tap on one of the boxes, it heroes out to we could show a bottom sheet, I guess, and have it disappear. Or yeah, well, let's just figure out. Let's figure out. So if we do something like wrap this in a inkwell, and do something like this. This will give us like a little splash effect, hopefully. There we go. And then what we want is item details. So we can do, we're going to use Navigator, right? But, you know, obviously this could just be go route. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, you don't even have to use routes. I'll be honest with you. Like we can do this with just a stack and stuff, right? But let's just do this. Most people want to know how to do it with routes. So, all right, so we want to push a route. So item details, we're going to turn this into like a little route thing. So I'm going to make the constructor private, and then we're going to create a static method that returns a route. And we'll have it return, we'll have it take an index as well, just as our parameter. Obviously, do whatever you want. And then when you call this static route method, we're going to turn back a route builder. Why not? Builder. Why do you know suggest things? Hey, route page builder. That's wrong, isn't it? It's a page route builder. Page route. That'd be nice. That wasn't confusing.
Down stacking is so fun.
There we go. And then we'll return item details without indexing. So for those that don't know, this is how you actually like do it, like a custom route animation and things like that. You want to use a builder. Ideally, you also want to always make sure you specify the route settings. This is basically just about to give it a name, but you can use the page API. This can actually be what's called a page, which is also route settings as well. I believe, yes, right? So if you've got like a material page or one of the extensions, you could be using that as well. There's a few different ways around this. Anyway, so just to give this a name that's unique to it, and the details. It's not opaque. That means it's going to be transparent. I'm going to call our private constructor. All right, so that's enough to kind of get us going. And then down here in our private constructor, in our we're going to have right. We want a piece of material, right? That's going to have like a bottom sheet, right? We're just doing this all ourselves. I'm not going to use any material pattern widgets. We're not doing anything else. Just showing you how you do this yourself, right? So
we do have a question.
I mean, jump into it if you want.
All right. Interesting question here about integration testing. They've tried enabling the integration testing package, but it's falling down when interacting with web views or native OS.
Yep.
Use Patrol.
You can't do that. Yeah, use Patrol. Yeah.
Was that Patrol? P-A-T?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
By our good friends over in LangChain.
LangChain, yeah.
All right. Patrol 3.1.0 on pub.dev. It is from LeadCode. So putting that link in the chat.
Cool.
Hopefully that helps you out, Alex.
I used Patrol on a recent project. Pretty cool.
Let's do some hard coding numbers here, which we're going to remove. Just for our testing. Right, so this is the details are going to be a widget that's bomb centered with a panning of 8. It's going to be a piece of material with top rounded corners in the card color, and it's going to be 400 high, as far wide as we can make it, and then its child is going to be a placeholder just so that we can see where it is on the screen. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, we want to call the route here, so we do item details dot route. for index. Okay. Tap on one, up it comes. Wash. Now we've got no way of removing this off the screen, right? Now we could go back and do swipe to back because that's the thing that Android has, right? But then again, this isn't very convenient. It doesn't really show what's going on. But it's there all the same, right? Let's make it, let's put a padding. Let's do a symmetric. Just say have horizontal. Just to kind of highlight that it's separate. There you go, right? All right, so what can we do here? So first of all, let's animate it into the screen, have it pop up from the bottom, right? We're also going to have some content that you can scroll. And then I think we can also add a hero to it as well. If we're kind of clever with this, right? Also, why is it's white as well? Why is it white? I thought there would be a different color. Canvas color. Coming up like that's just annoying. So primary color line.
Curious, why do you think it shouldn't be white?
I just want to differentiate on the screen because visually.
Okay, well, no, you were asking why is this white as if it should have already been something else.
Yeah, no, because normally the canvas color is slightly different from the background color, right? Or vice versa. But I think it's because scaffold here is not using background color, right? I don't know. I'm not even going to be fussed with it right now. It's different color just to indicate it's different, right? So, all right. So let's put some content in the screen, and also we could adjust the height. So let's see. Can we do a fractionally sized box? I don't know. Let's find out. Can we do a fractionally sized box? Height factor. Say what? 60% of the screen.
Sure.
Anna, does that work? Apparently, yes. How about that? Something like these are the kind of things that like you look at it and go, if I was trying to do this with the stuff that's built in, you'd just be scratching your head, like trying to pull your teeth out, trying to like do all this. And it's like, just do it, right? And it just works.
I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Or doesn't.
I've been having a lot of
yeah, but it's more likely than not that it's actually going to do what you expect, right?
I've been having a lot of fun using both fractionally sized box and aspect ratio.
Yes,
those are the main two things that I use for responsive design.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Or a size box that sets. I'm doing. Somebody on Discord asked, "How do you make like?" Or maybe it was on this show where somebody was doing wrap and wanted to do tall boxes and wide boxes.
Yeah.
And I built little widgets that actually would do 1 to 2 in each of the directions. And it worked really nice because it was all auto scale.
Another great one for that is Widget Book, because that's what it's designed for, is you create widgets that have no size, right? And then they can be plugged into all kinds of different places.
Cool.
So, but that's, Simon was just saying, if you're looking for pre-made stuff, you'll not bang your head against the wall. Just do it. Welcome to my world for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
He says, just do it. And you sit there and say, how? And he says, well just do it. This is what's called expert's disease. He forgot what it was like when he didn't know how to do it.
Anyways, there you go. So now we've got some content that you can scroll through, which is a good starting point, I guess.
It's why I can't teach arrays or subroutines in my basic Perl courses, because I learned them so long ago that I don't remember how I learned how to talk about a subroutine or an array.
And I've been calling this expert's disease for 20 years.
Yeah.
By the way.
I've had that for more than 20 years.
And in several different fields. And I've always been giving talks on things that I learn to beginners. And so that way I never fall completely out of touch. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
If you notice, I field most of the beginner level questions around here. because that's part of where my big focus is in trying to distill complicated junk into things that a 10-year-old can understand.
That's also a lot of the reason that I hang out in Discord a lot, because there is a wide variety of knowledge of questioners coming in there. And it's sometimes useful for me to remember, what I had to learn to get started with Dart and then ultimately get started with Flutter, because I got started with Dart 6 years before Flutter even existed. So I have this long history of both, and trying to remember how I learned about this. Now, Dart's changed significantly 3 or 4 times since I started. So some of what I learned early on would be bad practices now, obviously. So part of it was also unlearning, and so I had to learn how to unlearn some of that stuff.
I've actually got something here we're going to do, which I don't know if Scott remembers. We actually did a talk on it. I think it's his.
Oh my God! Are you talking about the modal roots?
No. Well, it has that in it, but no. Yeah, it's when you do proper animations on a route. That's the route.
Yep. When we did it at Flutter London.
Yeah.
I was just looking at this morning.
This was a talk. I kid you not. They were having 2 talks that night, about 20 minutes each. And this is at a place called Code Node that had a little bar in the middle and then classrooms all around. So Remy is up there talking about provider before us, and the room has glass walls. Well, Simon is sitting out in the bar like Kermit the Frog in that meme, typing away, trying to finish the code. And I run over to the glass wall, and all the people are facing Remy, and Remy's facing the audience and the glass wall because it's a back wall. And I'm sitting there waving at Remy saying, slow down, because Simon's still trying to finish the code.
Some things never change.
No.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
Tell me about it. The running joke among people who present is that you're not a real presenter until you're desperately trying to finish the slides in the Uber on the way to your talk.
Or backstage before you're on.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. Should we do this? Right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Probably not.
So what we want to do here, I've dimmed the background, right, by just putting in a material on the background here. Now, what we ideally want to do is have the background fade in and then have this contents come up from the bottom of the screen, right? And we can do that. So, first of all,
favor real quick. Just pull that back up a second. I thought I saw something weird. In the top left corner.
Yeah. Of what?
The background placeholder is.
Yeah, you're getting fade through. Yeah.
Oh, it's not actually that. It's not that. There is. I've got rounded corners.
Oh, on the
rounded corners
it.
that are not rounding prop. That drives me crazy.
No, it's not good.
No, they're rounded.
They're not clipping is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No, just not 10. Okay, happy now? Right. Anyway,
it makes me crazy that you have to do extra things in order to get a rounded corner to actually round.
Sure.
Buffalo widgets go around the outside, around the outside.
Hey, won't you come out tonight? Oh,
where do you go again?
Different buffalo sound.
Take it easy, Matt. Good seeing you again.
Yeah.
If we stay on long enough, Randall will lasso the moon for you, Scott.
Really?
I'd forgotten about that song.
I don't know the reference there.
That's from It's a Wonderful Life. He's going to lasso the moon, and he plays the Buffalo Girls.
So, okay.
Oh, you were talking about an old country song from the 90s.
I was talking about some relatively recent Buffalo Girls song.
There you go. Does that help?
Well, now you got a border.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please, Scott.
There we go.
Right. Okay. So moving on. Where were we?
You're going to fade in and fade up.
So let's wrap out. So we still want to keep our alignment. Let's wrap this in a stack. It's still never wrap a stack. I don't get why it's not in here. Like I do row and there's running into stack, but I'm just like,
oh, I know, makes me crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Just go add it
Unfortunately, there's
yourself.
not a lot of difference. So,
and then we want a color box.
Maybe we should do that as a coding example one of these days.
interesting question. What is providing the constraints for your colored box? Let's run this past people who don't know.
Oh, here, the color box, where the constraints coming from.
Yes, because it's in a stack.
Parent.
So
Yeah.
what's providing the constraints for the stack?
The widget above that, and the widget above that provides the constraints, and the constraints come all the way down.
So let's follow the code.
Yeah, so in this case, the stack is the entry point to the route, right? So if you actually go back and go inside your builder and then follow this back inside page build where build method is, you'll find that it adds a few other widgets in between to an overlay, and then the overlay is what's added inside the navigator. The navigator's inside the material app, and the material apps is your top level. There you go. Magic. Or you just go into the inspector and see that with a bunch of other widgets. Anyway.
I was just looking for you to go to a widget and say this one's providing the size.
Well, I mean, the parent is providing the size. And in this case, what we actually want to do is change the fit on the stack on purpose to do it expand. So that way the color box fills the screen the same as the line is going to do.
Yep. It fills whatever size the parent of the stack is allowing.
Yeah. Well, how big the stack is.
This is cool. Don't put it down just yet. If you take a look at your rounded corners and then going straight down, those lines are not going straight down, are they?
Huh?
Is it me, or are the outside lines bowed?
No, they're straight.
They're straight.
Okay. It
They're
must
not
just be
bowed.
the angle I'm seeing them at. Because it is possible, I learned in RFW, it is possible to do that by changing the rounding of one side of the corner or the other.
Yeah. So you round it. So this is border radius. Border radius don't have to be circular. You can have different X and Y and have elliptical. Yeah. Anyway, right. Back to this. So what we want to do is have the color box in the background fade in. We'll have a fade transition around that. Our fade transitions want to key off of an animation. In this case, we can give it the route animation. And if we wanted to, we can actually give it the route animation through a curved animation as the parent, as the route as the parent. And this way we can fade the back in with maybe a different curve to what is being used. So it's linear by default. So if we want to ease in, we want to like
curves with an S.
Yeah, curves ease in. Yeah, we are. So we do like an ease in on the fade, right? Now we also need to make sure that we're actually transitioning this with a decent duration. So we're just going to stick this up at 3 seconds for now, just so you guys can see at home. But
Simon,
It's
typo.
not 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, that would be really long. That'd be really long. We'd be sitting here going, "Why does it not work?" We actually did that before.
Still
You want
wrong.
milliseconds? You want milliseconds? Not
Oh my
milliseconds.
god! Oh my
Milliseconds.
god!
Or you could have just
Better.
put seconds and made it 3.
Yeah, I know. Right. Anyway,
Oh, come on. That's too simple, John.
he says, and then it's not actually. Maybe it's too light, and I can't see it. Yeah. Let's make this black and just see how long it takes to come in. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So let's do maybe black 38. There you go. So now
Gracias, Verde.
and it just goes way because we're easing in, it's going way too slow, right? So let's pop this down to one second. Right. I'll do it for now. So it's off-putting because obviously the bottom just pops in and it just doesn't work, right? So we want to animate the bottom up into the screen. Right? So again,
slide it on in.
Slide transition, just like that.
Slide it, Earl. There's an obscure game show reference there.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I missed that one.
Match
Should I be
game.
glad?
Yeah, match game.
I thought you were going to say 100 games.
If you never saw Match Game, you didn't miss much.
I think this might be the wrong offset, actually, but we'll see. So we want to begin at 1 on the Y and end at offset 0. I think there's two. I'm trying to remember. You got the one that's relative to the parent size and one that's relative to the child size. I think this might be the wrong one, but we'll find out. Oh no, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Are you talking about an alignment?
No.
You were talking about relative to the parent size, so an align would do that.
No. There's another type of oh my god, it's like a relative offset, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Whatever, I can't remember. It's fine. There's a couple of different transitions that use different ones. Anyway, so we'll put this.
Simon forgot something besides his keys. Mark this down on the calendar.
Oh my gosh! Right. So we do ease. What? Ease in. I mean, there's a fast
fast linear to slow ease in.
And then ease in. Cubic.
Alignment directional?
Right. No. So I actually almost want the background to kind of fade in before the slide is finished, right? So we can actually do that with a custom curve. It's called interval. We say we begin at 0 and we're going to end at 75% of the original. And we can even add a curve to it and keep our curve. So curves ease. I'm going to do ease in exponential. See how that looks. Nope. If I got that backwards because it's inverted, or my curve might have screwed up actually. It's probably going to be wrong, but yeah. Definitely 0.
Looks nice.
We should 50%. Oh, that's better. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that makes all the difference. It's funny actually how these little things. Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right. So what we could do is, if we had something like this, you could now extract this into a widget, right? And have a widget called background animation or content animation or something like that, right? And actually have these extract out so they mean something. We'll just leave it all in one for now, but I'm just showing you, you can do that kind of thing. Right. So, okay.
Do that and then put it in a gist so that people can reuse it.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's do this then. Down here, we'll have a, what do we call it? What's it called? Content slide. Route slide transition. There you go. Route slide transition.
Never feel bad about your typos, folks. I don't care how new you are to coding. You're watching a 30-year coder who can't spell.
For spelling, I don't know nothing. I'm old. I don't know nothing. That was just fine.
It's so funny, too, though, how people get all flustered about typing things wrong in front of somebody else. Then you sit there with somebody like Simon and you're twiddling your thumbs going, will you get on with it already?
Right. So here you go. Route. So now we've got a route transition. we can just go and put that in here. So now you can see that this is covered by the route slide transition, and we just extracted that out just in its own little thing. To be clear, this doesn't rebuild as the transition happens, right? This is a one-off thing when the route builds, and then because we're passing the animation, this is the key thing, we're passing the animation in. It's the slide transition that animates its content, its child, and there's no rebuilding taking place at all when those animations take place. It's all rendering, right? Cool. Right, so we got the background, we got it popping up. Great. We got some content we can scroll through. I kind of want it so that as we drag the content, the whole card moves up until it fills the screen. How's that? How do people think about that? Did we do that? Right? You follow me?
Yeah, we don't have any designers here, so we can do whatever we want.
We got no designs. Hold us back. Do whatever we want.
This is what happens when the developers take a shot at doing the design.
Chaos, pure chaos.
Tell you what, I'm going to be right back. I have an emergency that needs to be taken care of.
The glass is empty.
Yeah.
Or it's only partially empty, mostly empty.
The glass is
partially
half
full.
empty.
It's partially full.
Minimally full.
There is no glass.
There is no spoon.
There is no glass. That'd be messier. Height times 1.5. Okay.
I'm just trying to think, like, see if this kind of looks a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Let's do. Yeah, let's just do what we're going to do. Right. Okay. So we want to move. So the two things we need to do here, right? If we want the card to move up on the screen, we need to change the height factor that it's going to be constrained to. Right. So 60% opens up to 60%. And we need to make that go to 100% as you scroll. Intriguing. We're also going to need to take that, and then when you scroll in the opposite direction, maybe pull it down, right? And when it reaches the original 60% mark, we go, okay, you've reached this closing point, dismiss it off the screen and do a pop, right? Something like that. Yeah, Robertson said, yeah, that's what everyone wants when using the material bottom sheet. I know, right? Like this is how you do it. This is how it is done. Right. Let this be a template. I don't care. Right. So, all right. So first of all, we're going to need this to be stateful. I need to hold some state now. And we're going to need to hold a position, right? So call it vertical position. And it'll be a value notifier. And position. I guess we're not moving it, right? We could. Yeah, we actually want to change the height factor, right? Because if the content is smaller than that, we don't. Oh, that's a good question, Simon.
Well, but you're moving both at once, right? Because if you're scrolling down and you're adding space to the top, everything should scroll, right?
Yeah. Well, nothing actually scrolls because the scroll offset is still the same. Well, it should be. Let's get to that. So I don't think this is. Let's just call this. So the way we do this, right? Let's first of all, let's just answer this. So we'll call this a vertical. How are we going to position? I'll just call it that for now, right? So this is at 60% to begin with, right? And then we need this factory size box to update itself and change when that value changes. So we do that with a value listenable builder. And then the value listenable is going to listen to now vertical position. And the builder function, which is the only thing that gets run when the value changes, is going to return
that
back
child will not run. The single child scroll view.
And you pass the child through. So I'll explain this in a second, but let's do this.
That became one thing became a problem a little while ago. That was that the value listenable builder was also not building a child that was passed into the builder, in addition to not building its own child property.
It doesn't.
Or its own child parameter.
It doesn't do it. Look, you can see this. So the way this works is, here's a valuable listenable builder. It has a child. This is it down here.
It does not rebuild.
This child builds when this builds on the outside, not when its content builds, because it's not part of its content. It's not part of its build method. It's being passed in as a parameter, right? The same as anything that's passed in as a parameter, right? So what happens at the moment is when builders run on the outside, it's going to build padding, it's going to build material, it's going to build a value listenable builder, and it will build the single child scroll view and the fake content. That'll be built on the outside build method when it's run. When the value listenable build method gets run, it will run this function and pass the child, which it built on the outside that's given to it, in as its parameter, and that's put in here in its place. The whole idea of doing this
before was there are times that the child you pass in to the build method also did not rebuild.
It doesn't rebuild on purpose. It doesn't rebuild. That's the whole point of doing it, right? Anyway, that's my point. So building the outside is passed in. The whole idea of doing this builder and having that on the outside is that it doesn't do that. If you wanted to rebuild each time, well, then you just pop it here. Don't pass in a child, right? And now what you've done is this parameter is defunct, right? And you've now saying, okay, I'm going to rebuild all the content when the size box changes. Anyway,
and there's a third way that I'm talking about, which is there was a parameter passed into line 167, and that was not rebuilding, is what I'm talking about. If it was passed in, then you're passing it a pointer to something that was built elsewhere.
Sure, that's what this does. Anyway, the map. Right, moving on. Right. Where was I?
Line 167.
So now what's going to happen is when the vertical position value changes, the listener will kick in and it will rebuild the fractally sized box. So let's do that. So what we're going to do, we want to listen to when the content is scrolled, right? Maybe stop the scroll.
I've got a silly question. You may have answered this while I was away. We're talking about scrolling the entire sheet now, right? Making it get bigger as it scrolls.
Yes.
Until it takes up the front. So is the content going to scroll inside of that window anymore, or is the whole thing just going to scroll and take up the screen?
Nothing is scrolling. There you go. So I think there's about the wording here, right? So scrolling is when the offset of the content changes, right? If I drag this up, the offset of the content is not going to change, even though you reveal more of the content. You're revealing what.
Right. So you're saying the whole box is going to come up.
That's what I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but the content inside of the box is not going to move anymore. Right now, it's moving.
Yeah, that won't happen. That's what I'm saying. And then when we reach the limit of whatever it is, I mean, we can choose what the upper limit is. Then it would then start scrolling, right? I think that's what we want. That's what most people expect to happen, at least, right? Like you don't want this to look horrible. You have to scroll inside this. Well, why am I scrolling in this limited space? Why can I only see half of what we're seeing, right? We actually want it to reveal more content because there's more room for it to be visible, right? All right, so we can do this with what's called a notification listener. So we're going to wrap this in a notification listener. And this will listen to notifications of scroll notification. So notifications are a way of bubbling up a model through the tree. They're not just used for scroll events. You can use them for all your own widgets. You can use them for really cool things, right? So check them out if you haven't heard of the notification listener and its system and everything else. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that from there for a second. And I'm going to move it up. I mean, it doesn't matter where it is. I just want to move it up. Right. So on scroll notification, I guess. And what this expects as a function, if you look at the prototype, you'll find it, is you're going to pass in the type of the event you're looking for. You're going to return a Boolean. The Boolean to say, should it keep bubbling up, right? So in this case, if we print our notification and we receive it, we should start seeing some content in the logs. So let's make these logs larger. Right. So I'm going to tap on one. Let's clear that chunk. Right. Scroll it. Let go. Here are all the lovely events. So what we've managed to achieve here is it tells us there's a start scroll took place, user scroll notification, which actually tells us that the direction went in reverse, right? Or forwards, whichever direction, where our start position was. And then we get a bunch of scroll updates, which tell us what amount it was changed and what the offsets were and various other parameters. And then finally, once the scroll finishes, and you won't, but it's behind everyone. Hang on, I'm going to do that. You go in end notification, and also the fact that the scroll went idle. Right, so this is how we can see. Now, the end velocity, for example, is if we fling it at the very end, we'll get a velocity measurement that tells us how fast they're going. And we can continue that velocity into like an animation or something like that. Like there's a lot of options we can do. All right, so let's bring it back. Right, so what we're going to do now is look at these and see what we can do. So if we get I mean, we could use a controller. We get, actually, that's a good point. Hang on. I think we get in our start. Ooh, that's a good idea, Simon. Is it start, scroll, start, scroll, start notification? Yeah. I think we might actually get, context. I think we might be able to get the scrollable from this. Let's have a look. In other words, so to be clear for anyone that doesn't know how the system works, I've spoken about this before. Scrollable is the thing that actually does the scrolling inside of whatever scrolling content you're looking at. Let's do this.
Robert, not quite understanding what you're saying there. It's been a while since your last message.
And then, so if I run this, let's see, scrollable state. Yes, this is good. Right. So this means that we can actually get the scroll view. We can get the viewport height. We can get the range in which you can scroll within, a bunch of other things, and including which we should be able to get the position of the scroll. So where it is right now. So we could actually go, oh, you're at the top. And when you're at the top, we do something different, right? So that's essentially where we want to go right now. So let's see if scrollable position pixels equal to 0. Then we're at the top. It's actually wrong. Let me just fix this. This is a bit naughty there. Do it properly. So it's if it's equal to.
When I first studied Android, it drove me insane that they had things 120 characters long for just one variable. They did not condense things like this.
You could just ask your questions. Just don't have to ask a question to ask a question. Ask the question. Right. I hate that. Like not against the person, but it's like when someone says,
"Can I ask you a question?"
You just ask me a question. Just ask your question. If I don't answer you, I'm not going to. Then I'm obviously not answering.
We have pre-built macros for that in Discord to say, don't ask to ask your question. Just ask it.
And then they ask, "Can I ask another question?" You go, "You just did."
On that note, though, I do have to take off. I've got to prep for a meeting. I got to be in 10 minutes. So.
Well, John, Thanks. Nice to see you. And
see you.
we'll post the gist up online so you can check it out.
Yeah. We'll take a look at it later. Great.
Cool.
All right. See you all next week.
Roger.
Take it easy.
Yes, see you next week.
All right. So we want to cancel. I think we can get the activate. I'm trying to remember how you do this now. It's been a while. Basically, there's a current scrolling action that's taking place because we started to scroll at the top. I'm having hard to remember where it is. It's scrolling notifier. Keep scrolling. Oh, at edge.
Which edge?
So that's exactly what you wrote in the.
Yeah. Out of range. So we can animate to. Remove listener, copy. Begin activity. That's what I want to do. Right. So yeah, you did scroll and you ensure visible and hold. Hold. Stop the current activity and start a hold scroll activity. Interesting. What's a hold scroll activity? I don't remember. Let's go find out. A scroll activity that does nothing but can be released to resume normal idle behavior. This is used whilst the user is touching a scrollable, but before the touch become a drag. For the purposes of scroll notifications, just what we're doing, this activity does not constitute scrolling and does not prevent the user from interacting with the contents of scrollable, unlike when a drag has begun and there is a scroll animation. Okay. We want it to stop them interacting. But we also want to hold the scroll. So the question is, can we make our own? Do we have to make our own activity to do this? Is scrolling false? Oh, is it just idle? Is there like an idle? No. Basically,
yes. Go up. You just had idle. More? No. See, idle scroll.
Yeah, idle scroll. Yeah, but see, this is the thing. I think what we should be saying is it's scrolling, but then it doesn't actually move anything. There's no velocity, right? What we want is velocity 0, scrolling true. So by send that animation on the scroll, it's going to cancel the scroll, and then we could do actually saying that there is. I kind of wanted to build it into the scrolling system. To be fair, you could. We could do it where we simply cancel the current scroll, right? I think you can. Where is it?
Maybe not position. Maybe it's scrollable. No?
Hang on. But I know there's a way to do this. It's just eluded me for a second. You can begin. When it can. Drag, hold, jump without settling, move to, jump to, animate to. I'm pretty sure by calling sort of one of these like methods, you end up canceling the current drag. Where's the implementation I want?
Hey, Simon, someone is asking about using a content provider to get some data from a different application. I'm not sure if they're talking about Android content providers, but
when I Googled mobile content provider, the only thing that came up was Android.
Yeah, me too. I did find that one package.
Yeah, so just use the documentation for Android into the native code and then pass the data to the Flutter, right? With method channels.
Yeah, YOR is confirming it's Android content provider.
Yeah. I mean,
That's different from like iOS share, right? That's a different
yeah,
kind of
and I haven't looked at
process.
Android content providers since 2018.
Yeah, it's like, for example, you use it when you are getting the contacts from phone or messages.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Simon, I'm getting word that the video feed is not working.
What do you mean?
Video feed not coming.
Video? What do you mean video feed not coming?
Working.
Yeah, really. It's working here, but we're in
It's
Kenya.
working for me.
Yeah, but that's
What?
Are you guys monitoring YouTube?
Yes,
Yes.
it's working on YouTube.
Okay.
Right. I think he means they can't see us because I had you guys off. Your thumbnails were off the screen.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
Someone
Oh
clicked
no,
to that.
we're getting moved around all the time. Don't worry about that.
yes. Yes.
As long as the code is moving, we're here.
I've got a few bruises from being moved around that much. Yes.
Right.
That's
So I
okay.
figured this out.
If Randall ends up getting dropped, he hits the floor. So
Shit, no pointer. So basically, I'm checking to make sure it's a single position with a single context, and that's going to then allow us to go idle on it because that's the actual implementation. I'm just looking at this saying should ignore pointer. I wonder what activities implement this. Drag, hold, driven, ballistic, idle. Right. So let's go through them. Idle, false. Which ones ignore? Ballistic. It's not been implemented. Driven should ignore true. So okay, so if it's being driven, yeah, but then this has a timer. So we could actually create our own scroll activity to do exactly what we want, which is basically just velocity 0 should ignore pointer true, and that allows us to like hold but not have it get cancelled. And then if it tries to get cancelled, then yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, right? Because I don't think there is one that does exactly what we want. Yeah. Interesting. Well, anyway, let's carry on what we're doing here. So my idea was we could go back and look at that. But my idea is take the scroll to idle, meaning that we want to stop the scrolling event that's come in because we're at the top. And then there's a couple of other events we could do. Like we could probably, I think from the scroll metrics, actually determine if this gives us the pixels as well. So we don't actually need to go this far. But checking this would be a way we can actually do that in here. I think.
Okay. We have a couple of questions holding.
Ask them.
Okay. Number one, can they use content provider and get data from another application? And is it safe to use for authentication? Example, passing tokens to verify a different app. Can it be exposed?
Yes, totally be exposed. Anything can access the content provider. If you're exporting it from your app, you need to add your own custom permission. This is Android, and this is an Android question. But if you're going to use content providers, you add your own permissions on them. That permissions, you make up your own permissions that unique to your app, and you share them amongst your apps. So both apps have the permission. And then the Android system will limit access to those apps that have that permission. They can only get that permission because it's been declared in the same package with the key. It's only when they have the same key. So again, it depends on what you're trying to do. It's probably not worth it. It's probably just worth using if I want it seamless. It is seamless. Yeah. It's done for you. You don't have to do anything. Just declare a content provider with a permission. It's seamless. You don't have to do you have to export? Yeah, no, you have to export it, but you need permission. This is just you declaring your own permission. You have like a user's permission in one package and a permission declared in the manifest of the other, right? And it's a unique string that matches on both. Something that Verdi just said with like OTP. I mean, the other one is just have a private key that both apps have got, and they both encrypt the data that they're sending back and forth. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. There's no magical method here that. Yeah, that's going to solve the problem for you. Oh, I mean, it depends on what data you're trying to. You said useful authentication purposes. Pass the time.
Okay, and one more. Do you suggest creating a background or foreground services in Flutter, or do them in native and then use method channels?
I mean, they're always made in native, right? Even if you're using, let's just bring it up. Yeah. So even if you're using a package, right, it's going to be making them in native, right? You don't have to create them yourself. I mean, yeah. I mean, like there's packages out there. What's it called? Flutter background, is it? Flutter background service, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Is this the one?
And I'm going to have to get going here in a minute.
Yeah.
I made it 2 hours this time.
Yeah,
Flutter background service. That's the one. So this will you can give it even foreground service permissions. I won't explain what the difference between foreground and background is. It's a very specific particular thing, but yeah, doing something like this and then just follow the example. Yeah, why not? Just use that.
With that,
There you go.
I'm going to head off and get on other junk. But
Cool.
I will say it now: if you don't have your tickets to FlutterCon, buy them.
Yeah,
Be there.
Listen, we have a discount code. What's the discount code?
That's
I've
true.
forgotten.
Let me try to hunt it down.
No need to buy them if you're not going.
It's in Slack, isn't it, Simon?
Somewhere. I don't know. Hang on, let me see if I can.
I'm going to check the Slack
Not
channel.
to break a time promoting this out. Let me see if I know what it is.
Either that or it was emailed.
Hang on. I am. Oh no! I think I know what it is. Hang on.
Announcements in
No,
Blue Slack.
I thought it was Humpday 25, but I think that was for Europe. Well, come back next week and we'll get you the discount code.
I'm still looking. I'm going to search the emails.
Right. While you do that, we're gonna carry on doing this.
We have one more question. If you want to try that, how to sync two page views together so that when one is scrolled, the other automatically scrolls.
I literally made a widget for that. It's in my gist.
Okay. So
I mean, you just use one controller can command the other controller to do things.
That's what I would do.
Can you just use the same controller in both of them?
No.
That'd be too
You
easy.
think the way it's kind of like annoying. The whole controller thing is a bit annoying.
Okay. So you have to have one watch the other one and then act in the same way.
Yeah, so they add listeners to each other, and then when one starts it, the other one stops trying to initiate things because otherwise you're carrying infinite loop, right?
Oh, right. Wow.
I actually did the gist for this. In fact, I think there might even be a. Hang on, let me just see if I can. I don't like the way I'm not getting suggestions anymore on gists, even when I do search. It just previously it would search your gists, and now it doesn't do it. It's super annoying.
I blame Microsoft.
I do because they own it now. Therefore,
Where's John?
Yep, John's gone, so we can blame Microsoft.
Can you do like author search on there?
I can't find, Simon. There's a code that is good for only a couple of tickets.
Gist search cheat sheet. User : username. Oh, you can do that now. Okay. It changed it. Okay, here we go. Scroll. What was this? What was the question?
How to scroll one scrolly with when the other
Oh,
one.
we got. I've done search for scroll, and we got 72 gists. Drag scroll, nested scroll, scrolling, Humpday, smooth scroll.
Scroll is a popular topic.
Yeah, always scroll bar. I feel like there's
Scroll.
Scroll overflow. Oh, I got bar. For life of me, I can't remember what it was called.
Huh.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, what I suggest you do is follow this through and see if you can find it.
Yeah.
Go by yourself.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
You
should
write a tool that extracts all of Simon's gists and inserts them into Gemini's 2 billion.
That's not tandem scroll. I thought it was that.
And then say, how would Simon solve this?
Yep.
Yeah. Given this history of all this code that you see, how would I do this? Actually, I think there is a package I made a very long time ago. I just remembered. I did actually do. I know I did this in
Would it have add listenable in it?
I'm going to take myself way back.
Or it would at least have listen. It would at least have scroll controller in it.
This shows you the first time I did this exact same thing. 11 years ago.
Wow.
Android tandem scroll. There you go.
Okay.
Hey, look, it's 2 scroll views that scroll at the same time. It's amazing. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, you can. There is no search option. Yeah, there's a search option. I just literally linked you to the search option, David. You go, and you can just do user : and then the username and what you're searching for. The search box at the top.
Probably all gists are private, and you can.
Yeah, 2013.
Tell me about it, David.
This one just answered, wasn't it? Yeah, there's a search option. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, you can go find it.
I've got a question out to try and find that discount code before I go, but if it's not in the next few minutes.
Yeah, there is definitely one in there. I just don't know where it is. Anyway. Right, we're back to this. We haven't got further on this. Come on, distractions. Yeah. Right. So, I bugged things.
Oh no.
Things got crashy.
You unbugged it.
Would these developers start making bugs, eh?
Yeah.
We just make them, right? So we keep ourselves in the job. That's how it works, right?
When code goes bad.
Okay, so we got start scroll. Its scrolling is not true. Interesting. Handle drag update. So I think because we went to go idle synchronously, it just threw a wobbly. So if we do micro task, I reckon it's gonna. This will do it after it's processed the current scroll notifications. I think that will. Yeah, perfect. Cool. So it starts and it ends immediately. That's exactly what we want. Right. So now what we want to do is have it so that we want direction as well, actually, right? Because well, that's curious. We don't get direction, do we? At least not at the beginning. Oh, no, that's the layout direction. That's the scrolling direction. That's annoying because we get a start. Okay, we're going to do some state. Let's do some state. bool is scrolling equals false when we start scrolling, and I guess we need to save. Do we want to save the metrics? Yeah, we kind of want to save the start metrics. Scroll metrics. Start metrics. Late. All right, so what we're going to do is store the metrics. It's like, so when you're dealing with scroll notifications, it's very much like dealing with like raw touch events, like down, up. So it's like down, update, up, like the different like events. So we're going to get scroll events. We're going to save our metrics. We're going to say that we're now scrolling. And then when we get a case for the user scroll notification, this is where we actually get the direction, which happens after the start. We can now say, are we now scrolling? And if we're scrolling, then we can then use our start metrics and whatever to do what we want to do. Too many brackets. Yeah, right. So if we're
and I don't have an answer yet, and I'm going to have to get going. We will definitely have to take a look at that for next week. So,
all
right.
We're saying was reverse.
I will see you all next week.
See you later.
Yep.
Scott.
I'm going to. Time to sleep.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's late for you. Yeah, go.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. See you guys
Have a
next
good
week.
one.
Thanks. Cheers.
Just you and me then, as it often does.
That's right.
We're used to that.
Right. Is there? Yeah. So we say pixels is equal to min scroll extent. That matches that condition. So what we're left with is simply if we're scrolling and we're going in reverse and we're at the top, then we want to get out scrollable, and if the position is this type, then we want to call go idle on it because we're at the top. So are we scrolling up from the top? Now there is actually an over scroll notification, which we could use as the indicator as well for the start. I didn't think about that. And then we nearly missed this case end scroll notification. End scroll end. We're going to want to reset our scrolling flag. Right. All right, let's tap on one. So scroll down. I think I got my forward and reverse mixed up, don't I? Yeah, it should be forward. Forward. Try that again. Oh, what?
Not orientation builder.
Try that again.
It's there for a second. Okay, there we go.
Drag down. Okay. We didn't get update, so drag down. So what we got is a start user scroll. That's when we kicked in. We then got an over scroll notification, and then it ended because we killed it, and then we got the scroll going idle because we made it go idle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the exact order of events that we expect. So this is us dragging down. Oh wait, I wasn't trying to drag down, was I? I was trying to do the opposite way, where you go up.
Yeah, up to dismiss it.
Hang on. Are we trying to scroll up from the top, right? So we're trying to go up, but our scroll position at 0. I feel like I'm yeah, because we're going against the scroll. We're actually going in the correct scroll direction, which is the problem. So we're not going to get an over scroll. if we just try to pull down to dismiss, this is perfect, right? Because get to this point, we pull down, and then we can then choose to change the height of this, and then at the same time, yeah, okay. So let's try this the other way. So when we scroll up, we want to stop the scroll. So we actually had that right in reverse. So let's start that again. Go up. Yes, good. And then we want a way of, oh, that's interesting. Sorry, so I just scrolled up, it stopped me. I let go. I'm going to clear it again, and now scroll up again, and it lets me do it. So what is different from this one to the previous one? I'm guessing that I'm pretty sure what's probably happening here is the delta from the initial drag is being added to the pixel, to the scroll metrics. So we need to go idle, but at the same time as we actually want to say position dot jump to 0. In fact, probably go idle and then do that. So it's just like a few pixels off, right? Drag down, drag down, drag up, drag up, drag up. I can't drag up. Perfect. Good. Now we can limit this into when this is open, right? So when our vertical position is greater than or equal to 9 value. And now what we want to do is we need to capture the input of the cursor and capture the input of the update events. Since we're stopping this, since we're stopping the scroll, we need to do this kind of a fancy way. Now we could do this with like a custom controller, but I feel like that's probably, it's nice to kind of like listen and do it, I think, at the top level like this. Yeah. So so if we just put a line. Yeah, we put just gesture detector on material. And we can change its behavior if it's not an enabled flag, I don't think. We can change the behavior to be transparent. Like defer it to the child, and then opaque that we want to take it based on if we're now hooked or not, right? So we could add another flag. Ball is overridden. Some fancy dismissible scroll stuff is what we're building today.
Yeah.
So we're going to be overridden here. If we stop scrolling, we're no longer overridden. And then down here, when we flip that flag, do set state. And then the hope here is, where are we? If it's overridden, then we want to do hit test. In fact, no, we can wrap this with a absorb pointer. No, ignore pointer. We need that. I think we need that.
I can never remember the difference between the two of those.
So regarding the difference of the two, let me just do this. So absorb means the point events go down and they're going to get eaten, and they're not going to go, they're going to be like they're being absorbed by some touch events, like a scroll view, right? However, they're not going down the tree to those views, they're underneath. Whereas ignore pointer is saying there is no views underneath me that can take any touch events, so carry on trying other views to do it. Whereas absorb is saying I found some views that can take these touch events, use me, and the other widgets that are above it in the tree don't get to take the gesture.
Okay.
There is a condition that you need either or, depending.
Yeah, I can see the need for both of those.
On can update. And this is, I'm trying to remember now. This. Right. We could actually extract this out into its own little widget at the end. On update. Right. So the hope is now, let's do update. This could go immediately wrong or immediately right. We're going to find out. So let's get some events on screen. So if I drag down, interesting. I was not expecting those. Can we use the overscroll events themselves? Ooh, 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 ooh. Why are we getting these all of a sudden? Is this because we cancelled it? Oh no, I was scrolling the other way. I'm scrolling the wrong direction. That'd be why. Idiot. Again, I literally said it earlier. I just was in the wrong direction. Right. Right, let's clear this. Try this again. Scroll up. Right. Something's not adding up here. Ow. Where's our gesture detector? It was overridden. Opaque. Does the start have to? Do we have to have a start? Return true or something? No, it's void. All right. Let's do opaque here for a second. Let's see what we get. I mean, we could. Yeah. Something's not adding up. I'm not expecting any notification events if I do this. So we do need a ignore pointer, right? So we're ignoring true. Basically, I'm just trying to disable the scroll view on the inside from scrolling right now. Right. So we open it up and then there we go. Now we get our drag events. Okay, so ignoring, we can leave opaque, but the ignoring needs to be enabled and disabled based on our flag. Is overridden. So if it's overridden, then we're ignoring. So let's try this again. Tap on one, scroll. Did I get my flag the wrong way around? I feel like. Okay, let's go back. Clear. Tap on here. Scroll up. Hey. No, we didn't get any scroll events. Try this again. Let's try this again. Oh, you know what we don't do? We don't say it shouldn't bubble up when we capture it. It's probably helpful when we do that. Yes. All right. Well, That shouldn't make any difference, actually. Is it possible that and is greater than this and is less than? Oh no,
Oh no.
That's funny. Right, let's go on. All right, try again. Scroll up. There we go.
Huh.
There we go. It's doing exactly what I expected. Right. So now we get our scroll events. So I'm trying to drag up. And we're going to get...
I get my less thans and greater thans mixed up all the time.
Hang on. Let's just try this again. I don't think we got out of the right mode here. But let's see. I think I go to scroll up. You know what it is? On pan, on overridden. So scrolling end, we don't want to reset this flag. Because scroll end is forced on. That's when we go idle. What we actually want to do is go end when our pan gesture changes, gets ended, or gets cancelled, right? So some other gesture takes us for some reason, right? So we need on pan end and on pan cancel.
You need Copilot or Gemini or something to just fill those in.
I do have that, and I'm just not going anywhere. And also, it gets in my way. It does feel to me like it gets in my way, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to type, and it's like suggest. I know what I'm trying to type. So it's,
yep.
I don't know. Selectively turn it on, I guess. I don't know.
I have mine on only when activated by, I think it's control return or something.
Okay, so when it ends, we want to reset overridden flag on both of these, I guess. Back to false. All right, and then down here, that will then put our ignoring pointer back to the correct place. So let's try this again. Let's restart. All right, open it up. We're going to drag up. Interesting. Drag up. Okay.
Oh, we got you. Good. Sorry.
Hang on. The first time I drag it, it does the scroll events, and then the second time I drag it, the flag sets, so then it does the update. And now, now that resets because now it's finished, so then I drag again, it does back to scroll. So we're flip flopping. We're not continuing the one event.
Oh no.
I wonder if that's because this is the difference between a gesture. Okay, so I need to probably explain this. This is I know exactly what's going on, but let me explain to the people at home, right? So a gesture is a conglomeration of events that take place. So it's a grouping of events that take place. So as I said, a pan gesture is a scroll. That's what it's called, pan in the gesture detector. And that is you've done a down, you've moved, and then you've done an up. That would be the entire gesture. When the gestures, which widget you're trying to work out what gesture you're trying to do and if it should use it, they go into the gesture arena. This talks about this and so on. Go look it up. However, the point here is it's trying to work out which gesture detector or which thing should get these the full rest of the events, the updates and the cancel and everything else. So what's happening right now is the scroll view wins the first time round. And then when we cancel it, well, the gesture still is owned by the original scroll view. It doesn't just suddenly go, oh, which other view can have this gesture, right? That's what I was trying to do here. It doesn't work that way. So the next time I try and scroll, now the overridden thing is turned on. So now the ignore pointers enabled. It's not going to go to the scroll view. It's going to go to the gesture detector. And then that time around, it's going to get the pan. So that's what's happening right now. what we want to do is for it to, as soon as it cancels the scroll, we want it to start receiving those pointer events and going, okay, I'm going to steal these. Now we can actually do that without using gestures. There's a widget, which is the worst named widget, I think. It's called listenable. Listener is the name for the widget that listens to touch events. It was one of the very first widgets, and they made a mistake. In my opinion, they made a mistake. And I think this, event handling, a widget that calls callbacks in response to common pointer events. This should change. We should get this. We should raise a PR. It's terrible, right? So what we can do here is on pointer. Was it on pointer move? And on pointer update, on pointer up.
But is it any worse? Is it any worse than calling to JSON encodable to JSON?
Right.
Which is another real bad naming.
So what we can do here, there are things that happen during gesture detection. It does process the events a little and does do a few things. We don't really care for that right now. I think we're okay. So we're going to do, we'll click on pan, we'll say on pointer move. On pointer up. So if it's overridden, then we're going to use it. Otherwise, we don't. If it's on pointer up, I remember what the parameters are up and cancel. It doesn't have any. Oh, yeah, it's a cancel event. Pointer cancel event. So let's do this. Let's do it here. We could try and feed these into actual gesture recognizer and force the the down event, fake the down event, so it completes the gesture. I'm not sure if we need to do that, but you can do that kind of thing. Let's see where we're going to go. Right, pointer up. And go cancel. That overridden is not spelled right, is it? Is it when it's a double R, double D? Overridden. Nah, that's going to bug me.
Yeah, that's overridden.
That's right, isn't it? It looks wrong to me.
Yeah, there are times when I stare at a word for a long time thinking that's got to be spelled wrong and it's spelled right. It's just weird. It's English. It's the melting pot language. Stuff came to it from everywhere, so there are so many different overlapping rules.
Right. So drag it up. There we go. Move. So we got, hey, look, we got our notification. And then we got our moves.
Yeah.
And then we got our up. Yay, the full gesture.
Yay.
So now all we need to do is transition our move into a actual change of our what do we call it? Brain. Size of our panel. This also means that our listener, what we probably want to do is move this outside. So we'll swap this with let me explain what I'm explaining why the problem we need to move it is. At the moment, the listener just surrounds the panel. As we move, if our finger moves outside the panel, we stop getting the touch events, right? But we want to get the touch events even if our finger travels faster than the animation updates inside this area above the panel, right? In the dark area. So the line is what's actually surrounding everything invisibly as pushing it down to the bottom of the screen. We want our listener to engage when it's overridden, no matter where the finger is on the screen, because they've had to start the scroll event. So we'll swap this with the parent. And again, That'll move it up. So now this is being stretched out with the expand to fill the entire screen. So our touch events are going to come through. We could also, just for easier legibility, move the ignore up to understand that we've got a list and ignore, and they're being handled again together. We put a lot of logic in one widget here. This is not the way to do this, right? But what we can do is once we've got this working, we could pull this out into its own thing, right? So its own little widget that does just like override vertical dragging or something, right? You missed that. It's a pan. So for you, I think you missed that. But the gesture detector has pan events. This is for the questions in the chat. The gesture detector has those pan events for horizontal and vertical dragging. There's also scale, which gives you panning and then pinch to zoom and things like that. Anyway, so now we've got this. What we can now do is drive, hopefully with event. So we're going to get, we get delta. We do get a delta. This is great. We're going to get a delta in the Y direction. We're going to force this in the Y direction. There's other ways of dealing with that, right? You could pass in a direction that you want things to pop out and flip it. But we know this is going to be vertical. So what we need to do is work out what is the adjustment that we need to make, the fractional adjustment that we need to make to the size based on the delta, what amount the delta is of the potential maximum that the scroll position is. And it will move with the finger. If we were just to add this number, it would try to go pixels to fractional units, and they're not the same. So we're basically just converting the pixel value that we got in our delta to a fractional unit that we can adjust our height with. So the other way of doing this is we could have we could do a size box, pre-calculate our fraction, and use pixels as our offset. I don't think it matters either way, really. I mean, there might be slightly more error in one versus the other in terms of conversion, but I think we're probably pretty good. We've got double floats, so okay. So we want to take the potential height that it could be. Let's use the height of the screen right now, although that may not be the case. Let's just do that as a test. Max height. Right, and then we'll say dy divided by max height. I think that's all we need to do, right? Plus equals this, or minus equals that, or something, depending which direction I go in. Let's find out. It can only go wrong. So pop it open, and then drag up. Hey, look! I've got hold of it. It's moving exactly with my finger. It's amazing.
Wow.
And look, it even over scrolls then at the top.
Ship it. Ship it.
Drag it back down. Oh yeah, we didn't do down. Okay, but that's cool. We could should be able to just ping that. The direction. Oh, okay. Hang a minute. Is the hey Marco, welcome. I thought when it's less than this, great. We don't care about the direction, then, do we? Let's just find out. In which case, I mean, we get over scroll. Hang on, let me clear these events. Drag down. So we get start, user, and then over scroll. So what is about this did not match? And we should probably we use start metrics, right? Actually, let's put that up here. Okay. That's not helpful. I'm guessing these numbers are what? Where's our toString? Because I'm not reading that. Okay, so we've got extent before 0, right? Dot 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 extent aside, how much is actually visible versus the extent on that's running off the bottom, which is after. I see how they're doing this. They could have just done that with like arrows. It would be much easier. Anyway. So we're scrolling. Our pixels is our minimum scroll, and our vertical position is it's gone over this, and now it's in the opposite direction. So we want to conditionally allow this the direction. Okay, this is it, right? So okay, we want to allow the direction only to work when the vertical position is above or greater than. Yeah, I know what I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Take out direction and this condition. And what we're going to do is we're going to have one set condition that's basically just said if we're scrolling, and then the other set is going to be this is going to be maybe slightly more complicated than I would like it to be, and maybe we can look at simplifying it. But why do you format like that? Oh, I guess we'll do this. Right. So it's reversing 0.9 or forward again and greater than or equal to, right? We're just doing 90%, I guess, but let's try this. So drag it up and it goes off and just continues to scroll, and then we drag it back down. And it works, I think. Yeah, see that that's over scrolling. I don't know why it is. It goes up. I think one of these conditions isn't working. Do we care that we're at the start? Yeah, because we're at the top. So what is wrong with this picture? Okay, let's have a look at our logic and let's look at our output. So it's not working there. I go up, I go down, and it's not working. Right, that should have triggered, right? Because it's at the top. So look, where's our scroll metrics? Yeah, we're at 0. Our direction is going forward. We must be scrolling because we're at the start event. Direction is going forward. We're at 0. It's not greater than or equal to 90. What am I missing here? Come on. Anyone got this? The size? What? What do you mean the size? Also, this is actually not 90%. So I'm like, is this? See, I'm expecting to drag down for it to go down further. If I start dragging up and then move it down, it will, because it's a continuation of the same thing. I go up, works. Go down, doesn't work. However, if I go up to the top and now pull down, it works. I mean, it's almost like we don't need that. Am I? Maybe I'm being dumb. Up, down, up, down, down, up. Start scrolling. Continue scrolling, comes back down. Okay. It's working as I expect, but the logic's not working in my brain, but that's fine. All right. So now, here's the thing. At the moment, we're dragging it and it's working, right? Obviously, when we let go and it's below a certain amount, we want it to dismiss. So we could easily do that right now. So I think we'll add that. So at the up event, not cancel, on up event, we can say if our vertical position value is less than 50%, greater than 50%, yeah, sure. Then we're going to say context.icon navigator of context block. So this should work, right? So if I drag down and let go, hey, that's cool. Drag down, cool. It like animates off and closes. Nice. And if I drag up, it works. It continues to scroll. So we could do a fling, right? What we don't have at the moment, we don't track the velocity. And I think this is where we kind of get into the weeds a little bit on this. When's your stopping point at the moment, Randall?
I don't really have a stopping point, although the bed's looking good because I didn't get enough sleep last night. So
shall we limit ourselves to 15 minutes? Just round this off then.
Yeah, I like that. I can do that.
Okay.
I'll keep watching. I do want to talk about the screencast I'm putting together today, though, because I'm really excited about it.
We'll give it some. We'll be a bit less.
I could do that while you're coding.
Well, let's just finish this last little piece.
Okay.
So yeah, look, if it's less than 50%, I think the problem here is I'm dragging, and because we're applying our touch event straight to the view, it's like dragging cement. It's horrible. So that's all because we're trying to take our touch inputs and put them straight into this thing. What we actually want to do is have an animation and continue a velocity. So we're going into a bit of the inner workings of touch and scrolling now. Should be quick, and I think Randall, I don't know if you've actually done this kind of stuff for us, so you might find this interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm watching.
So what we want to do is we're going to magically change our value notifier into an animation controller.
Isn't that the same?
The nice thing about both of these two, the nice thing about animation controller and a value listable is they're both notifiers. They're both
value notifiers.
Both listenable, right?
And they're both value notifiers in that they're providing a value to the subscribers.
So now, if we do that, and then when we initialize our widget, come on, work.
Wait, where are those?
It's just weird. Sometimes it just gives up, and I just have to do it different ways. Anyway, dispose. No, just man. And then with single ticker, provide a state mix in. This is going to provide the ticker for our animation controller. When we start up, we'll build our animation controller. Now, here's the key. Animation controllers can be built unbounded. This is the magic. Unbounded means there's no upper bound or lower bound limit to what the scroller value can go to. This is good. We're going to use this to denote our values. We could actually have a bounded one because we're using 0 to 1. Actually, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll do unbounded and bound. I'll show you the difference. Which isn't much in our case, but and then if we want it to animate, we'll say it's going to be 250. Again, I'll show you the difference between. In fact, I'm going to do this bounded, and then I'll show you what unbounded will do for our duration. It's really clever. So our lower bound and upper bound are the default values. I'm not going to put them in. 0 and 1, that's the default all animation controllers. So that works with our range. Remember, we're using a fractional range of 0 for 0%, 1 for 100% for our height, a fractional height.
Yep.
So now we've got a vertical position. We want to make sure that we dispose of our scroll controller. Now we have a vertical position that is an animation controller, and we can choose to animate this. So we can get the value. It still works. All the code works exactly the same as it did before. We haven't had to change a thing because it's value listable. However, now what happens is when we move, we can choose to animate it open. So here on up, if it's greater than 50%, well, actually, what I'm going to do here, this is kind of interesting, right? I'm going to comment out our pop. So if it's less than 50%, we're going to say vertical position dot animate to 0.25, 25%, and I'm going to give it a curve of, I don't know, ease out. Let's do easing out, whatever, not do. And then when it's the other way around, we'll go to 75%. So this way, you can never. It will always pin. It will always pin itself. Let me hot start. If I open it up now, oh, I didn't give it a starting value of 60%. My bad. Value 60%. It was on 0. That's why it didn't pop up. Right. So open one up. There it is. Now, if I fling it upwards, it's going to always pin to this position. If I go below 50, it pins to this position. So it's either above or below, and it will animate to those. And that's simply that. That's the animation controller just doing its thing. And then the view updates, which is pretty cool. So the theory here is now what we want to do is we actually want to continue the animation of it open or closed with the velocity of the touch. So this is where unbounded comes in, right? So unbounded works by allowing us not to have a duration. This is just an animation control that will animate stuff, but it's not bounded. Then what happens is when we want to actually animate, in this case, I don't know if we can actually do it with this. No, we don't want a duration. The whole point is we don't want a duration. What we're going to do is we're going to say vertical position, and it's animate with simulation. Okay.
Wow.
This is probably the bit that most people don't know about. I'm gonna just comment out this because we is going to go back in. I just want to show people how you do this. So what we can do is we can do a few different simulations here, right? So we want a clamp scroll. I mean, there's a bunch of these we can go to, right? But we'll do a clamp scroll. And the current position. So we'll just treat that as the current value. Is the current position, right? The position of the particle at the beginning of the simulation in logical pixel units, and then the velocity that we're going to go at, and then you've got friction and some other things, right? Now the velocity, you think, oh, we can get there from the event. No, we can't. Now this is because these are raw events. This is just the up that occurred. It literally has no idea of what came before it, right? That's what a gesture is for. So we've got two options. We use a gesture recognizer, or we use a velocity tracker. So we're going to use a velocity tracker. However, there's a few different ways of achieving this. In fact, the velocity tracker is what's used inside the gesture stuff to do all this. So we'll say late velocity tracker. And when we start our move, if it's null, we'll create one. Actually, we'll make it nullable, not late. So they're throwaway. Once you track a velocity one, that's it. It tracks the velocity of the events given to it. Once you've done that for one gesture, you throw it away, you create a new one. That's what I'm doing here. So when we start getting move events, we make sure we've got one, and then we add the position. And this would be the event time, and then the event position. There's a few different values. As long as they're the same value, it doesn't matter, right? Now, this allows it to make up the velocity based on the units of time and the positions. It knows how much distance you traveled over time, i.e. the velocity. So then down here, when we go to up, we can say velocity tracker dot get velocity. And then we want to make sure that that is set to null. That's it, right? Now we've got velocity that we can now use for our value that we're going in, right? Now this will be, in the y. That's it. So that's going to track the velocity and give us the velocity of what was going on with the move events. So we're going to get a series of move events. And when we get the up, I think up also needs to be added, actually, saying that. I don't quite remember. It's been a while. I'm going to add the up just to make sure. All right, so let's restart this. So now this, I feel like we're probably going to have to clamp this, to be fair. We could actually still have this bounded. Actually, let's have this bounded. I'm going to give it your, now we can have it bounded. This means it will limit it to 0 and 1, so it should clamp it. Yet we're still going to use a simulation to perform the scroll event. So go in here, I fling it up. Oh, it says, apparently I'm doing it in the inverse direction. Let's do that. Ah, you know what? You know what this is? This is, it wants the pixel position. This is in units of in logical pixels. We're in fractional units.
Oh no. Yeah.
So the number that's actually come out with this whole calculation, the whole stuff it does in here, is in pixels. Is in logical pixels. That's why this is not working the way I want it to. So, okay, so it's not a bad thing, but it means that we just have to change a little bit. So we update our value to be in units of the screen, or we can we do a different type of simulation? I don't particularly want to go start creating my own. I'm going down the rabbit hole then. All of the simulation stuff that's built in is built around pixels, not fractional units, which is fine. I mean, we can still do this, right? What we could do instead, the reason we do this, so let me be clear, the reason why I'm actually going down this route. We can still keep the velocity tracker. The only reason we want to animate using this is it keeps the velocity in the animation. If you track the, you need to work out the duration for an animation, so he knows when to stop. That's not how simulation works. Simulation stops at the condition for the simulation stopping. That is all built into it. It doesn't care. So coming back here. We're just doing this to continue the velocity of the touch event. If we to do this and just have I'll show you. If I do this and have animate to, back in a second. So animate to, I think what you just saw earlier, right? So if I say animate to 0, if I'm say here, if velocity, let's just do this. If velocity is greater than 0, it's going in one direction. I can't remember which way. I'll just do this. Now, if I put the duration on this to be, let's do milliseconds 500. This might, I don't think actually, let's do 1,000. See if it comes. This may not come through. Let's just give it a go. So I tap on one, it pops up. I go swipe it, and it goes really slow off the screen. It's like, where did my velocity go? Obviously, I got this in the wrong direction, right? We're going to type this to 1 for it to go the right direction. Should we say? Try that again. So I go up. Well, there you go. I'll get there eventually. 2 flags, both were in the wrong direction. Right. Tap again. So if I fling upwards, right? There it goes. I did a fling, but then it slowly goes up because of the duration.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. what you actually want to do is have it so that when the animation when the that's interesting. Yeah. When the animation continues, we want it to continue with the velocity, which means we now need to effectively simulate when is it going to reach the destination, and that's the duration of the animation. Now, the way it works with a simulation is that it calculates that the dx value as it goes. So we can fake this, and I think that's what I'm going to do, because I can't, like, a stream's running on, we've got limited time, we want time boxes. So we know if we bring it down, we want it to dismiss, and then that's just going to animate off the screen. That's fine. What we want to do is then say if it's not that, so we want to use that velocity to continue, to continue the scroll scroll to the top. So we should, in theory, be able to could really calculate these numbers down, as long as, actually, it's a good point. Hang on. One moment. Animate with, was it clamp scroll? I think the only reason it cares about it being in pixel units is because velocity is in pixels per second. So if we divide both of these by the same fraction, this becomes a different set of logical units. But as long as both are the same, it matters not, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, the rates are going to be the same. The coefficient shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, meters per second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it may do.
Meters per second. I love it. On a phone.
Well, no, they're doing that to pare it down to get the pixels.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Yeah, so I think the only way we can really do this is say animate 2. And then the target in this case is going to be 1, sorry. And then our duration is the complicated beast. Can we calculate the duration it would take if the velocity was kept? Maybe. And then a curve. We could just say, okay, it's flying. Do you know what? I think I'm gonna. I think we're gonna leave it here and put a little to do, right? And that's the answer right now, because it's getting late. To do, use velocity. Use velocity to determine duration of scroll of animation, or switch to simulation. Right. Let's see. Tap it. Up. Yeah, I do actually. What am I doing? We do need to continue the velocity. Velocity. Dot. It's because I need to know the direction of the scroll, which the velocity will give me by if it's negative or positive. So, yeah, that's the other way. I'll get there eventually. Right, I think that's it. So let's see. I'm going to fling up. It will scroll open and go down, and if it's below 50, it goes away, and I can scroll it. in both directions and it won't make a difference. And I can scroll it down. Actually, it's really smooth. I'm not blowing my own horn here. It feels smooth, right? And this is because we've adjusted it.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do. I'm gonna. Do we have just have people watching us? We do. Oh yeah, we have quite a few. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this up on a gist, and then you guys try it out. I think if you get hands-on with this, I think you're really like. It's one of those things you have to feel. So I think I can show you it, but it's not really going to show off like, all the details. So where is it? No. Okay. Right. Pop this in gist, and we're going to call it. What we're going to call it? Bottom sheet, animated bottom sheet thingy. Scrollable and animated scrolling.
Naming
custom.
things is hard.
Animated
As long as it's got scroll in it somewhere, that way you can find it when you look
yeah.
for your other 87.
With all my other scrolling stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Animated scrolling custom bottom sheet. We'll call it that. And it was on Humpday Q&A. What's today's date? 28th. Right? Wow.
28 August, yeah. 4 days after my mom's birthday. I called her up and wished her happy birthday.
Aren't you a lovely son?
Yep.
Right.
Well, she's getting on in years, but she's still sharp. She still acts as a volunteer for her apartment complex to help things out. So, yeah, she's staying busy.
Link is in the chat for anyone that wants it.
Cool.
There's the gist link.
Let me quickly talk about the screencast that I'm building to build some.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, of course.
Okay,
of course.
I'm going to illustrate it using you. Go back to your code.
Oh, okay.
So last night I was having a discussion on Discord, and we were talking about light bulb things. If you scroll up to your import, pick one of your imports. Just put your cursor on one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and look for the light bulb. Now, where's the show one? Where's the one that adds show?
I'm using it. Yeah, I'm using it. Let me choose this one because it's got less. Yeah, there you go. Show.
Okay, so notice that there is a
offset.
So it's differently on this. On VS Code, it just says the words show, add show annotation. Now, if you didn't know,
that's what it says there. That's what it said there. That's what it said.
Okay.
But it actually showed you it gave you a little example. Hang on, let me go back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you can have somebody
it said add explicit show here, and then it's showing you what it would actually change.
Right. So what this is a code rewrite. These are built into the analyzer, the Dart analyzer, so that every IDE that speaks the LSP, which is all of them basically now, can use these. And there's dozens of them, and they're not documented anywhere. You kind of just have to discover by accidentally. I think if you click on an if, it'll do something for ifs. Yeah, if you haven't
down there somewhere, I know I have.
Yeah, I think there's one that can swap the if and the else. I think maybe it won't work there.
Yeah. Will it?
Okay.
Oh.
Where'd it go?
I think there's a hotkey. Hang on. I'm pressed the wrong hotkey. Hang on. No, I've completely forgotten.
Anyway.
Invert if. There you go.
Invert if. And it's like, who knew that these are here? And you've got things like wrap with a loop, wrap with an if, all these really great rewrites, and they're not documented anywhere. So I'm going to do, it's probably going to end up being about a half-hour screencast. I'm going to go through each and every one of the undocumented code things and basically make a video out of that. And that should be out in the next day or two in my channel. I pasted the link to my channel in the chat. Please subscribe and you'll see this wondrous new piece of text. It may be probably my most referenced video in the next 6 months, because this is something, it's so cool once you know that you've got these things. I mean, I'm sure you've done wrap with Widget, because that shows up a lot in Flutter. But these other interesting Dart rewrites are just not documented anywhere. And there are bugs against the documentation, but nobody has solved this one yet. So yeah.
I'm trying to
wrap
remember
with try catch, wrap with try finally, wrap with a loop, wrap with a for in. Really great stuff, really great rewrites. And again, those are all built into the analyzer, which means that every IDE that uses the analyzer as a backend, which all of them do, because they don't want to parse Dart themselves, they all have access to all these code rewrites on the lightbulb menu or the pop-up menu, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's my upcoming thing. So I just wanted to.
I think I've messed up my hotkeys. I think I've messed up my hotkeys.
Oh no!
This menu used to pop up on a hotkey, and it's not working anymore.
Anyway, I wanted to throw that out
combinations there. I thought it was this one, but it's not working. So I've screwed something up.
Please subscribe to my channel. It'll be there, and I've got hundreds of other videos that are also great. So check out my history on that too.
Yeah, I use that one as well.
Cool deal.
Cool.
I think that's it. I think it's even linked from the Flutter community channel as well. So yeah, there we go. All right, that was my pitch.
Cool. Thank you all for joining us. Glad you still stick around for some live coding. I think we had some fun there. Hopefully you found at least one thing in all of that craziness, something to remember or something interesting or something to check out.
Another scroll thing.
We'll see you same time, same place next week. Maybe we'll finish this off.
165 hours.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.